Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. What's good with you? It's your boy JB here live tonight, and we are talking about week one of the NFL preseason, the official week one here. We had the Hall of Fame game last week. That turned out to be a lot better than I thought it was going to be actually last week between Carolina and Arizona. But hey, now we are talking about, a bunch of teams getting ready here over the next couple of days, including today. We're going to be streaming Green Bay at Pittsburgh for this one. And so this is going to be interesting here because if you're Pittsburgh, obviously you come into this game here, you know Aaron Rodgers is the starting quarterback. Everybody knows that right there. But just seeing how some of the backup, quarterbacks are going to play here for Pittsburgh, who's going to step up and be QB2 and how good are they going to look? Will Howard. I remember what he did at Ohio State. Is he going to be the next guy in line after Aaron Rodgers steps down after this season? And Drew Alara, many people love his, abilities, the skill sets. They talked about this guy as if he was going to be a first round pick just a couple of seasons ago before it all fell down last year at Penn State. But hey, how will they look today? That's what I'm really watching here. And as for Green Bay, you know how important that QB2 position is with Malik Willis gone to Miami now. Who's going to be, step up at that QB2 and can they really, hold things down if called upon? And so I see we've got Carmichael here in the chat. What's good with you, Carmichael? How's it going? Carmichael, you can't think Steelers without thinking Carmichael. How's it going? And so Samuel, what's good, Samuel? How are we tonight? And man, we are getting ready here for the kickoff to take place here in a moment here. I'm excited for this one. All right, and JV's going to go ahead and as we get ready for kickoff here, let me go ahead and share this link here. And so I'm trying to do my own version of Pick'ems this year. So anybody that's interested, be sure to visit my website, check it out. And if you feel like joining, go ahead and feel free to join. It is free to join, no extra cost to that. So go ahead and feel free to check it out. I'll go ahead and pin this one well, I actually can't pin this one. So there it is. But I've started that. Let's see, Carmichael says, I'm doing amazing. Thought I'd never see you stream again. You start college on the 24th and you hope the Steelers can sweep the preseason. Hey, congratulations there at starting college, man. That's exciting. What's your major? What is your major? All right, so first we're going to see Jordan Love in the Green Bay Packers. So Jordan Love will be playing in this one. Green Bay with the football here from their own 35-yard line. Love up under center here. Multiple receivers, one back in the backfield. Snaps it, and it's going to be a carry off the left side there, picks up about 6 yards on the play. Let's see, Carmichael says going to be majoring in occupational health and safety. Okay, that is great. That is great, Carmichael. I'm excited for you. JV wish he was starting college all over again. Those were definitely some of perhaps the most exciting years, if I could say so. So definitely, go there, stay focused, but also have fun as well. Just keep that balance, keep that balance. Love throws it incomplete. Third down coming up. So we got third down coming up. Can this Pittsburgh defense get Jordan Love and company off the field? For Green Bay coming into this season here, the real question that everybody has for Green Bay, more so this year than previous years, just how good is this receiving core? Green Bay offered Christian Watson, that increase in salary there in which I was like, hey, I would have had him prove it first this year that he can stay healthy. I'm pretty sure when he's healthy, he's got talent, but we never see it because he's always hurt. So can he stay healthy? That's a big question that Green Bay's going to have to figure out this year because they certainly need him healthy this year. Now Love throws it. Oh, what a nice completion there. And that's to Jaden Reed to about the 40-yard line and a first down there for the Green Bay Packers. Let's see, Samuel says your buddy's friend from Dukes of Hazzard, cast drive, tow truck, and passed away age. And so, oh man, yeah. Again, first quarter here, opening drive of the game here for the Green Bay Packers here. Ball at the 42-yard line. Christian Watson goes in motion, going to hand it to the running back, and the running back going to fight for 2 yards on the play. Green Bay's trying to get that run game going. Pittsburgh not having it. Second down coming up. Oh man, Brayhawk, Braden, what's good? What's good? Oh man, so I guess the magic worked. I put the Steelers and the Packers on. Now I can see Carmichael. I can see Braden. What's good? And yeah, it's been since what? Has it been February or January? I don't even remember where it all fell off at. But quick pass there completed to his tight end, picked up about 2 yards on the play, 2, 3 yards. Braden says doing good. So Braden, what exactly, how would you describe, what you expect for the Green Bay Packers this upcoming season? What are some of your biggest concerns for the Packers? And also, what are you feeling confident about this year for the Green Bay Packers? All right, 3rd and 5 here. Love throws it to the back and the back. Oh my goodness, he's going to lose some yards on the play. Clearly, it was designed to get it to the back of the backfield, and Pittsburgh was not having it. They said, no way. Let's see, Braden says, last time was probably when I streamed in the college football playoff there. Ooh. I'm trying to think. The last college football playoff game that I streamed, which one was it? Because did I stream the Indiana Miami game? Yeah, I think I did stream the championship. So I did finish college football. It was just the NFL that I left hanging. Okay, bet. All right, so now Green Bay's going to opt for the field goal here. Who is this new kicker, Braden? Who is he? Kick on the way, and it's good. He made it. Okay. The examiner says just in for public announcement on August 9th, 2026. Was Scooter from Dukes of Hazzard. Died at the age of 84. That's right, I did see that. 84. But let's see, they haven't put the points on the scoreboard yet. So, oh, referees getting involved here. See, Braden says concerns with the pass rush until Mika returns and the secondary. Well, how are you feeling about the wide receiving core this year? Specifically, when I think about, Christian Watson, obviously you guys paid him for his potential, but the guy is always hurt. Every time I look, he is hurt. Now, Christian Watson used to be somebody that I used to, in fantasy football, I used to target him. But enough is enough. Like last year, I didn't even target him last year because he keep getting hurt, and he got hurt a little bit last year too. But he did have a couple good games as well. All right, so after that penalty and a first down here for Green Bay, picks up 2 hard yards on the carry. Let's see. Brayhawk says Trace Mack is the new kicker. And he says he loves the receiving core, but they have to stay healthy. I mean, yeah, on paper, as long as Matthew Golden turns out to be what everybody believes he's going to be, I still feel very good about Jaden Reed personally, because I've seen him, do it. He just got to stay healthy, not get hurt, and get more opportunities. And then if Christian Watson does stay healthy, it has to work out that way. All right, running play here. Nice pickup there up the middle. And that's going to make it 3rd down and manageable here coming up. Again, here in the first quarter, 10 minutes and 45 seconds to go. And so far, it's been all Green Bay with the football so far in this one. Brayhawk says Lloyd having a nice drive on this one. He is. He is. 3rd and 4. Can they get another first down? They've been clutch on 3rd down so far today. Shotgun formation, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 back. In the pocket, Love throws it incomplete towards Jaden Reed. And again, Jaden Reed. Well, tell me this, Braden, of all the receivers for the Green Bay Packers, in terms of fantasy football, how do you rank the basically the top 3 for the Green Bay Packers? In what order would you rank them? He said, yeah, Reed needs to stay healthy. If he does, I see him having over 1,000 receiving yards. And so, yeah, I certainly can see it. I certainly can see it. I like his game. I like his game, especially when he's fully healthy and he's out there, making it do what it do, as JB likes to say. All right, so smacks again for another field goal. This time they're going to count it, and it's good. It is good. Greyhawk says, good pass breakup. And he says, all right, so you got Reed at one. Okay, Golden at two, Watson at three, just because of health. So if I were to tell you, Braden, that all three receivers were going to suit up for at least 14 games apiece on a more realistic end, at least all of them are going to play at least 14 games, would you still rank it with Reed number one, Golden two, Watson three? Because what I'm trying to figure out is that if all three are healthy, like what's the pecking order? What should I expect? And you missed the stream. You missed the stream yesterday, Braden. You know your boy Zoe had to take a couple shots at the Green Bay Packers. You know that. You know that. All right, so you switch Golden and Watson. Okay, because I hear a lot of hype surrounding Golden that everybody's expecting Golden to take this, next leap this year and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, if he does it, that means that probably Watson got hurt, most likely scenario. Knock on wood that he doesn't, because I'd like to see what he can do for a full season. That would be nice. Samuel says, hey, JB, was Ben Jones as Cooter was Samuel adopted? Papa, you say Samuel and played at Nashville back in 2009, 2010. And Samuel has been to his house. We eat lunch with them. Very sad. Pray for the family. Oh, yeah, prayers for the family for sure. For sure. And man, take me back here 2009, 2010. Man, we're talking about JB's what, freshman and sophomore years in high school back then? But yeah, very sad, very sad. 84 years. Let's see, Brayhawk says, I do hope Golden is number one though. So that would be best case scenario. You feel like is that if he became the true number one for Green Bay? And where does Tucker Craft fit into all of this as well? Because I'm excited about him coming back because he was balling out before that injury. And I see the Lions and the Bengals, they're playing also right now. It ain't take but a second for Joe Burrow to find Jamar Chase already in that one. All right, so the Packers are about to kick the ball off here, and we're about to see the Steelers offense for the first time today here in the first quarter with 10:09 left to go. All right, so return by the Steelers here. He's at the 25, still in his feet, out at about the 29-yard line. I wonder which quarterback's going to get the first shot here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you guys open up against the Minnesota Vikings in the season opener. That's going to be a game, Braden. That's going to be a game right there. All right, so here we go for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh man, I forgot they still had Mason Rudolph. I totally forgot they still got Mason Rudolph there. Let's see. Samuel says, you're a big fan, sad NASCAR news. Yeah, May 2026. Drive star Kyle Busch passed away, age 41. Yeah, RIP there. Yeah, I remember when that news hit there, Samuel. And man, it's been a couple months now, but it still feels like yesterday. Like extremely sad. 41 years old too. I see that the Chicago Bears said that irregardless of if they relocate or not, they're going to maintain the Chicago Bears as the name. Mason feeling pressure. Mason brought down. And just like that, Pittsburgh offensive line let him get toast. Green Bay got after it. The very concern Braden has about the pass rush. Hey, it looked good that time, Braden. I mean, look at that. The pocket collapsed. Homer did absolutely nothing to help. I mean, Homer got pushed back into the quarterback himself. In the first quarter, 8 minutes and 48 seconds to go. Third and 14. Quick pass, gets the completion, spins, brought down, and they will have to punt the ball. All right, so here goes the Pittsburgh Steelers. Punt on the way, goes at a bounce. And now Green Bay with their second possession of the game. Up, there goes a flag. There's a little extra stuff going on there. Okay. And for those of you that are on JB's personal website, I have put up the pick'ems for college football, both week 0 and week 1, and I've done the same thing for the NFL week 1 schedule for anybody that's interested in, doing the pick'ems week to week. I have already created those, so I can share the link for anyone interested. It's already earlier in the chat if you scroll up enough. All right, so we are currently right now here at the commercial. And while we're at the commercial, if anybody wants to give their projection in terms of what's the record projection that you have for both the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers for this upcoming season? If you want to give a range, you can share that as well. Again, we are at the commercial here. And again, for Green Bay, Jordan Love was 3 of 5 for 18 yards passing on the original opening drive there, which resulted in 3 points for the Green Bay Packers. You also had Lloyd with 4 carries for 13 yards, and the leading receiver off that opening drive was Jaden Reed. He had a catch for 19 yards. It was a big time third down completion for them. Again, the official week 1 of the NFL preseason. I will go live again Saturday for the Bears and Browns matchup. Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, I'm looking at I see for the Bengals and Lions there, you cannot let Burrow get hit too much in the preseason. That is not going to be a formula for success right there. And Brayhawk says Luke Van Ness, yeah, got a sack there. You said also we're not the ones committing special teams penalties. It's a Christmas miracle. Well, it is the preseason now. You might want to save that gift there for the regular season, but hey, you're right. Practice those habits now. Get it right. I like it. Mike, what's good, Mike? How are we, Mike, today? Let's see. Rayhawk says JB enjoy Romeo Dub. And so, hey, I will. I will. It's been so long for the Patriots since we had this type of depth at wide receiver now to where it's like finally, we belong amongst the rest of the teams in terms of just having a capable wide receiver room, a very good wide receiver room, so I'm loving what I'm seeing. All right, so Terod's in the game. Terod, right off the bat, throws it down there, incomplete, but right off the bat. Now, I remember Terod Taylor. He was supposed to. What was it? Was it when he was at Buffalo or with the Chargers? I forgot where he had that injury where he got hurt. I think by the medical staff actually, and so he ended up not being able to be the starter, and it cost him the starting job. Whereas he was supposed to be the starter, but I can't remember which location he had got hurt with because Terod's been at quite a few teams over his career. All right, so now they're going to go five wide here on 3rd and 10. Quick pass, caught by the receiver, and the receiver is going to be about 3 yards shy of that first down marker there. And so RC, what's good? RC in the building. He says, JB, what's good, cuz? Hey, JB's happy. It's a Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. We get to have some football today. Tomorrow, Saturday. JB is happy. Rayak says Chargers, and then Herbert made his first career start. That's right. That's right. It was with the Chargers where Tyrod had the infamous injury that cost him the starting job, man. I mean, if I was him, I would have been suing some people in the organization because it shouldn't have played out that way at all. And so Black Medicine in the building. What's good with you? And so, yeah, it got started early. There's two games on right now. For those of you, because it's currently right now 7:26 p.m. Eastern time. So there are two games right now. Obviously, this one, Green Bay versus Pittsburgh, but there's also the Detroit Lions and the Cincinnati Bengals that also started at 7 p.m. Eastern as well. And in a couple minutes, the Patriots and Colts will be playing against each other as well. But JB can't get that channel, so JB, that's why JB's not streaming that one. So you get what you can get. But yeah, games today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Bunch of games Saturday. So Saturday's going to feel like a football Saturday. Kind of weird because we expect, obviously college football on a Saturday, but you get what I mean. As the RC said, love the show yesterday, but you got put yourself on a timer. Hey, the best timer is fatigue, but hey, you're right about that though. You're right about that. What we might end up like me and Zoe, we might end up starting an hour earlier just so that way we can have more time because we had to start around 9 p.m. Eastern time just because that time works out better for Nash and Old Man. Again, Old Man we thought was going to join us until he got called in for work, but hey, it was fun. It was fun. It was. And Brayhawk says, it's Allen Medicine. Hope you're doing your QB battles. Let's see. Black Medicine said, I need that Terod Taylor position to get his needle and make a trip to our QB room. But which quarterback, though? Which quarterback should he sit down? And again, right now, currently here at the commercial here, but Pittsburgh will have the football. They trail this one, Green Bay 3, Pittsburgh 0 here in the first quarter with 6 minutes and 59 seconds to go here in the first. Let's see. All right, she said, unless you're gonna, it's JB's football within hour. Bruh, nah. Nah, JB can't do that now. That JB cannot do that. Because first of all, JB wouldn't be able to show any of the games, so y'all would have to just listen to JB just talk it through as it happens about 10 minutes after it actually happened. And so Yeah, but I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. Let's see. Black Medicine said he has zero interest until college football starts. And just again, I'll reference, what I said earlier in the stream. My website, guys, I finally got it to the point now where you can enter your predictions for who do you think is going to win for both college football week 0, week 1, and then also for the NFL week 1. And you can continue to change it up until the last minute if need be. But it's on the website there. I've got the website URL in the chat for anybody that doesn't have it yet and wants to check it out. It's free to sign up there. JB is continuously working on it, but I also made the decision I'm no longer going to stream from it there. It's just a lot of work to do, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it more so for things like, weekly pick'ems and such, and also sport news as well. As Rusty said, gonna call it. Let's see. Samuel says, your JB is on Game Saints live stream 3 p.m. JB is not streaming the Saints game tomorrow because the Saints play what? The Jaguars Saturday, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But no, I will not be streaming that one. Meanwhile, pass over the middle, completed to about their own 19-yard line. Again, Mason Rudolph in there, quarterbacking right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the young guys after Mason Rudolph on the depth chart and what they look like in the preseason. But no, I see what you did there, Samuel. Try to add an extra one. JB's going to be streaming the Bears and the Browns. That is JB's next stream, and that's Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. All right, so here we go. First quarter, 5 minutes and 37 seconds to go. Mason in the pocket. Mason throws it over the middle, finds the open receiver. What a nice completion. That might have been a tight end right there. Let's see, Mike says, I do not have fans so paint us a picture, JB. You say you do not have fans, so paint us a picture. You say who's playing? And so yeah, so again, right now we're watching the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers here. This is one of two games that's currently live right now. The Detroit Lions and the Cincinnati Bengals are also playing. I seen Burrow connect to Chase, and I also see Burrow take a sack also. So Cincinnati's offensive line's got to protect for him. But right now, Green Bay's up 3-0 in this one. First quarter, 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Pittsburgh with the football. Oh, that's right. They got your boy Black Medicine, Jeremy Bernard on Pittsburgh. I totally forgot about that. RC said some people say preseason football is mid to meaningless. What you think, JB? I'm gonna keep it a buck with you after this play right here. After this play, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. All right, Mason throws it to the receiver. That's a first down. Still on his feet though, breaking away. Speaking of Bernard, that's Bernard there with a big time first down, and that's exactly what you want to see out of the young rookie receiver there. Excellent job keeping his balance, breaking away, and a first down here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Gotta like that there if you are Pittsburgh. But yeah, when it comes to preseason RC, I feel like my preseason radar, I'm good for about 2 weeks. Go ahead, play the young guys because we all know you don't play the veterans anyways because everybody's afraid of them getting hurt and stuff like that. So the move of going from like 4 preseason games to about 3 or 2 and stuff like that, I'm all for that. But it means so much for the players and also for depth because injuries happen throughout the course of the year. You got to know what you got, and they have to have the confidence that they can step in the actual game scenario and still perform. Because some guys, they're practice warriors. They can go out there, look good in practice. You put them on the game, they start getting nervous. They start hearing the crowd. They can't focus. They panic. You got to see, does he look the same in practice? Some play better in the game. Like they actually feed off the energy of the crowd and stuff. So you got to see what you're dealing with when somebody gets hit out there for real. Do they bounce back? So preseason is important for that, a dress rehearsal. But yeah, JB's not going to advocate for more than about 2, 3 preseason games, honestly. But it is important. Jesse Mike says, Steelers, I don't know much about them anymore. All right, so let me paint the picture then. Let me paint the picture as best as JB can. All right, so for Pittsburgh, obviously Aaron Rodgers comes back as your QB1. QB2 is Mason Rudolph. Now, behind him, you may remember Mike a couple years ago when Ohio State won the national championship. It was Will Howard who transferred from Kansas State that won it. Well, he is on the depth chart as well. In addition to him, Drew Allar, Penn State quarterback last year before, part of the big collapse that they had, but he's been their quarterback last couple years. And you heard the hype as much as all of us did, Mike, when it came to Drew Allar. They talk about his, size, his arm, blah, blah, blah. So can he put it together at the NFL level? That is the question that people are going to want to see there. So that's what their quarterback position looks like. They still got Jalen Warren in the backfield. Um they picked up Rico Dowdle, who came over from where did he come over from? I just forgot. Oh, Carolina. That's right. Came over from Carolina. And so that's going to be a nice 1-2 punch there. I feel like you're just going to ride the hot hand between those two and what you need, but you know what you're basically getting from both runners. So I like that for them. They picked up also coming over from Indianapolis. What's his name? JB drawing blanks today. Long day at work. Long day at work. Michael Pittman. That's right, Michael Pittman to be their wide receiver two next to DK Metcalf. So then you've got that drafted. Bernard, rookie out of Bama. So yeah, that's pretty much where their offense is. In terms of what I can explain there. Now defensively, you know what to expect from Pittsburgh's defense. Pittsburgh's defense is still going to be one of the better defenses in the NFL. And so, but the offense has the same problem they had before. Aaron Rodgers not going to want to get hit. So that means he's going to get the ball out quickly, short passes there, try to run the ball there. And obviously Mike McCarthy, the head coach. So there goes your Pittsburgh rundown there, Mike. All right, speaking of Pittsburgh, Mason on the move, throws it, gets the completion, but he's going to be about a yard shy, but he did indeed make the completion. So now we've got 3rd and 1 coming up right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're at the Green Bay 14-yard line. So you're looking at an opportunity to either get a first down, potentially even tie if you don't get the first. Probably end up going for it, in my opinion, afterwards. Let's see. Black Mason said, I saw a video that spoke about college football week 10. Bro, look at all of the games over there. Is that the week where Miami plays Notre Dame, Ohio State plays Oregon, Alabama plays LSU? Is that the same week we're talking about? I think Georgia and Ole Miss also play. Let's see. Ray Hawk says sacked again. RC says Mason Rudolph is still a Steelers. Some things never change. Some things never change. But hey, as a backup, they wanted somebody that they felt comfortable with, so that way they can develop the quarterback behind Mason Rudolph, but they don't have to throw any of the young guys in, say, if they're not ready. So, and again, they had to wait so long for Aaron Rodgers to commit. But yeah, he keeps finding his way back there. Let's see, Black Mason said that'll be good to see what the Browns are kind of going to look like. Yeah, I thought about that when selecting the game. See for ourselves, Watson versus Shador. Does any of them have it? And I'm also looking forward to, and you might remember Callan Green from the Arkansas Razorbacks, QB4, when he gets into the game. I'm most excited about seeing him play, honestly, because I felt like if he had better talent than what the Razorbacks had last year, who knows? He could have been drafted maybe a little bit higher. He's got skills, he's got exciting skills. All right, and again, we got 17 seconds left to go here before we get to the end of the first quarter. And again, Pittsburgh trying to get the touchdown here. As you Mike says, not having TV spell check. Let's see. Brayhawk says Bernard. He also says Super Bowl prediction, JB. You said yours is the Broncos versus the Rams. I just got a feeling that the Broncos are not going to get there, but the Rams, I certainly do have in the NFC getting there when it's all said and done. They seem to be the most complete team, and I think Seattle letting Kenneth Walker the third go is going to haunt them, especially if Charbonnet is not 100% by the time they reach the playoffs. There, I mean Price he could be good, but I don't know. Sometimes from what I see with these running backs that end up being the second running back drafted in the first round from the same school, the same position, they tend to end up not being, especially the ones that are like how can I put it? The smaller backs, because if you go back to when Nick Chubb was drafted and then what, Sony Michel was also drafted by my Patriots there. Sony Michel ended up being the worst of the two, henceforth the less physical running back did not pan out. You go back to even far back, guys like Ronnie Brown, Cadillac Williams drafted very high and stuff like that. After Ronnie Brown, still first round, still top five, did not work out that well for Cadillac Williams either and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that Price is going to be a bust or nothing like that, but I'm just saying they may not, really get all that much from him in year one compared to a guy like Kenneth Walker who just got better with contact and stuff like that as the game went on. So that could make all the difference against a team like the Rams, assuming that they stay healthy long enough. So, and in the AFC, oh man, the AFC is really, really tough to determine who's going to get there in the AFC right now. To be honest, I would have to lean probably towards in the AFC. I did think about this for the AFC. As much as I don't want this to be true and stuff like that, like it would probably, I feel more confident in the Bills than I do in the Broncos for some reason. I can't explain it right now. I just cannot explain it. I've got more confidence that Josh Allen would come through than I do for Bo Nix. I feel like the Broncos would do great, but I don't know. I just don't know. And again, we're currently right now at the commercial. But I will say this though, I will watch Houston. If you're telling me that CJ Stroud's going to go out there and have, let's just say, a top 16 type of season in terms of all quarterbacks and stuff, and he actually bounces back, then Houston becomes that team for me in the AFC. But it just comes down to quarterback play. Like Arthur said, they just made getting monetized harder. You say, I think it goes into effect actually on February 2nd, 2027. Explain that to me. Explain that to me. Because I did see some changes when I jumped back in. I was like, oh man, so it seems like they really want somebody working this almost full time just to get monetized. I really hope that it's going to be worth it this time though, because before you're making, pennies on a dime here. Like it really wasn't worth, the effort. So, but do break that down for me because I was noticing that about 2 days ago. I was like, what do you mean I got to have some 4,000 hours and stuff like that? Let's see. Blackman says, well, I guess I'll go ahead and spend $80 on bringing YouTube TV back. Oh, yeah. JB made that commitment. All right. So that play right there to Bernard, that's going to close out the first quarter with Green Bay winning 3-0 here at the end of the first quarter of this preseason game. So far, Mason Rudolph is actually 9 of 9 for 91 yards passing so far in this one. And at running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Nichols, he has 2 carries for 13 yards. And Jer- Jeremy Bernard, he's got 4 catches for 51 yards for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one. So he's having himself a nice preseason game already in one quarter. Let's see, RC says, Bray Hawk, man, salute. Let's see, RC says, here's a blast from the past name, Trent Doofus. You said, wait a second, I said that wrong. Trent Dilfer. Good old Trent Dilfer. I mean, ever since his exit at UAB, I don't know what Trent's up to these days. All I know is that he went to UAB, cashed a couple checks there, and did not impact the program the way I was hoping. And let's see, Mike says, Alar, it's over. Over. Let's see, RC says, his name should be, honestly, Drew Ana. Stop it, RC. Stop it. Let's see. Black Mason says Green is in the NFL. And so yeah, he's in the NFL. Like I'm trying to think, did they actually draft him late or pick him up as a I feel like he was a very late draft pick. I don't remember what round, but very late that the Browns did end up drafting him. So I was like, okay, he's the quarterback I'm most excited about. Let's see, Mike says, JB, I have easier time seeing field from seats at Bill's new stadium than understanding what Steelers. Hey, I understand that, Mike. I understand that. I understand that. Let's see, Black Message says Damian Harris. About to say, is JB far behind here on the chat? Let's see, RC says the Hamlin Indianapolis Indiana Bears is wild and crazy work. Yeah, when I first thought about the potential for that, I was like, come on now. Come on. But hey, I mean, Indiana, they say, hey, we're claiming everything we can to football, irregardless. We're just going to claim it. So I hear them. Mike says, any chance Brooks is not hurt this year? Honestly, Mike, I feel like of course, there's a path to that, but I'm not going to put no JB guarantee that it doesn't happen. But I do want to see what happens if he's not hurt. This is the year for it to happen. There comes a point in time in all these injured players' career where it's like, this is the year that I cannot get hurt. And if I can just stay healthy, imagine what that next bag is going to look like, just imagine. So this is the time. That's the artist said you need 8,000 watch hours to get monetized from live streams and pre-recorded long from videos. So they trying to double what they already basically quadrupled? Is what you telling me, RC? I mean, like, what kind of benefits are they really trying to do? Let's see. Brayhawk says RC. Who they looking at that, man? RC. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But you know what? Because I think in just the 2 videos that I've done, I've gotten like 536 total hours out of that. So it won't be anything crazy for me so long as there's consistent streaming. But for those who have, less to talk about consistently, oh man, they're trying to rob the community. Mason Rudolph moving around. Mason Rudolph takes off the defensive end. Give me a name. Give me a name. He caught it in the end zone, but he did not get both feet in. That's out of bounds. Would have been a great play for Bernard, but he did not get that inbounds. 1 foot was out of bounds, but that was still a nice effort. But who did Mason shake off like that? My goodness. I need a name because that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. So I said, JB, your boy Westbrook retired. Are you sad? RC, I'm glad you brought that up there. Let me go ahead and give Russ his flowers. Nobody has done more for the community than Russell Westbrook. He put down more bricks and built more houses and stuff like that than any other NBA player I can think of to name. I mean, what he did for my Lakers, or more so what he didn't do for my Lakers during a time period that he was there, oh my goodness. Like, it was just embarrassing to see. I mean, I've never seen such a headstrong player in terms of just committed to turning the ball over, committed to doing it his way and stuff like that. It was just bad. And then I had to sit through listening to Brown talking about let Russ cook, and I'm like, no, take the kitchen from him. Like, don't let this man cook. But that being said, now, great admiration for what he did for other teams, especially early in his career down there at OKC and stuff like that. He was the heart of OKC. I was mad when they let him go. I liked it, Russ, with OKC. He had a nice long career and stuff like that. He did tremendous, like just the way that he played. He was always confident in doing it his style. Every other player had players that they tried to, picture their game after, model their game after. But I feel like Russ truly played basketball the way that he wanted to play it. Right or wrong, good or bad, hurt the team, help the team, destroy the team, build a team. It didn't matter. He was going to go out there and he's going to give you his all. If you bought a ticket to watch him play, you was going to see him play. Like, I tell you that. You was going to see him play. I liked his mindset at times. It just wasn't a fit for what my Lakers needed. But all jokes aside, though, a tremendous career. And so the only person that's left now on Brayhawk is your boy Steph Curry. For him to call it, a night. That's the one that's next. But man, 18 years. Oh man. Let's see. Archie says, I seriously don't think they'll increase the payout either. They just want people to work harder, and for what? I was really hoping that they were going to increase the payout, because if you're going to tell me that they're going to increase the payout there to where you don't have to stream about 4 or 5 months just to, scrape up about 50, 60 and stuff like that, dude, like, come on now. Like, but nah, they're saying that it is not going to help your pockets at all. That's discouraging. Let's see. RC says he's still going to be in a Hall of Fame, though, just like Melo. Oh, for sure. And he should be. He should be in the Hall of Fame. All those years he played, hey, like I always say, right or wrong, what Russ meant for Oklahoma City back in the day, that alone should put him in the Hall of Fame, quite honestly. Mr. Triple Double. He brought back that aspect of the game. Let's see. Brayhawk says Westbrook played basketball downhill and was one of the passers in the NBA history, one of the best passers. Yeah, I mean, he was so good. He passed to the other team quite a few times as well. No, I'm just joking there, but you're right. You're right. A lot of respect for him. I'm just playing and stuff like that, but hey, a lot of respect for Westbrook and his game. Honestly, I did want to see Westbrook get a championship. I did want that for him. Let's see, Bragg said that probably won't happen for a couple years. As RC said, yeah, because we all know the Vampire James is gonna play forever. He'll never call it quit. All right, run play here. Oh, nice job there. Excellent job. Took it to about the 10-yard line. And that's exactly what you needed on that first down carry if you're the Green Bay Packers. Again, here in the second quarter with 13 minutes and 47 seconds to go. And there is a Pittsburgh Steelers player that's currently down right now. I'm guessing that Pittsburgh is going to be okay with four quarterbacks throughout the regular season. I would imagine because if you think about it, I don't think that they want to obviously release whether it's Will Howard or release Drew Alar or anything like that. They want to develop those quarterbacks, so they may end up with four quarterbacks, on the active roster. I would think. That takes me back to when Brady's first year on the team, obviously coming in sixth round draft pick. They already had not just Drew Bledsoe as a starting quarterback, but they had quite a few established, backup quarterbacks too. So they ended up keeping like four quarterbacks on the roster Brady's rookie year just because Brady played that well. They did not want to cut him. So they just kept four quarterbacks on the roster to develop them. And hey, it actually worked out the following years. Mike says the Jets and the Dolphins stink. Doesn't it feel good though that to have them on the schedule twice a year, every year though, Mike? Does that not feel good? As Archie said, you see him winning a championship this year or maybe next, JB. Well, I don't see it happening. I see that it could, be a deep playoff run. It should be a deep playoff run, but at the end of the day, I don't think that they do get the championship because you cannot count on Embiid to stay healthy for a long time. You just can't count on that. You just can't. On paper, if there's no such thing as injuries, sure, they have that potential. But you mean to tell me that they can actually win the championship? Better yet, get there, but win it? Nah, I'm not gonna say that they would beat a team like if the Spurs were to go back there or maybe OKC get back there. Nah. All right, pass completed back around the line of scrimmage there. RC said Dolphins need to tear it all down to the ground and start. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They picked up Malik Willis just because they're like, hey, if it works out with Malik, then great. We got him on the cheap. And if not, then we're going to have an early pick, and then we can get whichever quarterback we fancy, whether that's Dante Moore, whether that's Arch Manning, whoever that might end up being. You never know. But that's basically what they did. They got rid of their wide receivers, traded away Jaden Waddle. Yeah, they are tearing it down. That's what it looks like at the NFL level to tear it down. You got to have somebody go out there and play. I'm pretty sure nobody wants to go 0-16 though. Let's see. Samuel says, "How are you doing today, JB?" He said, "Good, nice work today." JB's doing good today. JB's feeling energized. I'm feeling good. There's football, and JB is ready. I'm ready for the regular season. I'm ready for college football. I'm ready for the fantasy football draft. JB's feeling good and just counting it all down, just soaking it all in. All right, Terod moving around, being elusive, using those legs. Wait a minute. That's a flag every day of the week. Come on, man. You knew he slid. I mean, that was a clear slide. I don't know what you're thinking, Holcomb. Like clearly you don't want to play football. SCRC says JV and I wrong to have Drew Brees in my top five quarterbacks all time. Drew Brees was the epitome of accuracy. When I think accurate passer of the football, Drew Brees certainly comes into mind somewhere in my top three for most accurate quarterbacks of all time. His ball placement to make up for, like maybe not the strongest arm in the world, but the ball placement and accuracy certainly up there. And plus, statistically, the passing yards, hey, he belongs up there. He really does. He was great towards the end of his time with the Chargers and with the Saints. So if you want to put Drew Brees in your top five, I'm not going to sneeze at it. I'm not going to sneeze at it. Now, will he be in JB's top five? Probably not. Probably not. But you know, as a quarterback, I certainly can't argue against it. I pitches it to the back, and brought down for a loss on the play. He's going to lose about 3 yards on the play. So excellent job there by the Pittsburgh defense, getting back there and bringing them down. Mike says, "Why be a Jets fan?" You say, "Will Broadway Joe come back?" Why be a Jets fan, Mike? I feel like I should make a segment that says, "Why be a Jets fan?" It's like you're committed to misery. You have to be the kind of person that enjoys being hurt to be a Jets fan. You got to be the kind of person that likes being wrong to be a Jets fan. Like it. But nah, let me not go too far there. But I have no answer for that one there, Mike. No answer. Archie says, "Sam, I am." Sam says, "You're good. It's hot weather." Oh man, it is hot. It is hot. And if JB has a bone to pick, it's with the size of these ants that's just roaming around here in Georgia. I don't know what they feed these ants, man, but these ants are so big, man. They like if they get together, they basically can stop JB's, like windshield wipers just by just standing in the way. About five, six of them, they can stop them. They're big, like they're jumping off vehicles on suicide missions, and then I've seen them do some Spider-Man type stuff, man. They're on one, that's for sure. So that's the only bone JB has with how hot it's been is that these ants they are bigger than I remember them being in the past. Let's see. Mike says the UFL season hit differently in a bad way. No fun quarterback. That's right. No McGough, no Perkins, no Martinez, and now no Birmingham Stallions. So it's just going to get worse. I really don't like that. I really don't like that. Like, can we have a little consistency with some of the teams? Like I get what they're trying to do, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that. You get rid of one of the better teams you've had for the past, couple seasons and stuff. I know not recently, but like championship wise, I don't like it. Let's see, Mike says, JB, is Grenard a good edge for you mean the Eagles there? For the Eagles? I think so. I think so. I think so. Let's see, Mike says Jet goal should always be to get star draft quarterback. We saw what happened the last time they tried to grab a franchise quarterback. They drafted Zach Wilson and stuff like that. They took him, Zach Wilson. So nah. I think they just want solid quarterback play. How far am I from Hotlanta? And so honestly, I'm just on the outskirts there, just on the outskirts, honestly. So yeah, so basically we're talking 20, 30 minutes already in the heart of it. So pending traffic, of course. Or as he says, talk about holding grudges, JB. You say, I'm still mad about the Panthers beating my Cowboys on a walk-off field goal in whatever week that was. Do the Cowboys and Panthers play again this season? All right, meanwhile, Terod dropping back for the Green Bay Packers, throws it over the middle, it's incomplete. 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 So that is going to be fourth down, and Green Bay is going to come off the field. And again, we are here in the second quarter. The score right now: Green Bay 3, Pittsburgh 0. Let's see. Mike says, "I did not enjoy this year. You say you hope Michigan comes back, and so, oh yeah, absolutely. All right, punt's on the way. Will we get a return here? No return, and it's going to go into the end zone there for a touchback." Samuel says on May 6, 2026, a tornado, let's see, down, let's see, -4 for a hit your hometown in South Mississippi. Oh man, these tornadoes, they go to work now. They go to work. As RC says, that's weird. You say Spider-Man. You say I've been binge watching the Spider-Man movies the past 2 days. Whenever you get the chance. And so I tell you what, though, everybody's talking about the Spider-Man movie. The movie that I'm looking forward to, is actually going to be in theaters starting tomorrow, and I forget the name of it, but it's like End of Elm Street or something like that. I think that's the name of it. Correct me, Black Medicine, if you're listening, if I'm wrong there, but I think it's like End of Elm Street. It's going to be in theaters tomorrow, so JB wants to go see that one tomorrow. It seemed interesting from the trailer that I seen. Anytime you add dinosaurs to it, JB's going to be interested. Let's see. Mike says, how good will Lemon be? Are Eagles in trouble with no AJ? That is an excellent question there, Mike. In my heart of heart, if you had to ask JB, are the Eagles in trouble without AJ Brown? I'm going to say no. They are not in trouble with AJ Brown. Let me tell you why. AJ Brown, throughout the greatness of AJ Brown, they were not heavily utilizing him last season, obviously, there. But we know what he does bring to the offense as a bona fide number one. I feel like this is going to help Smith, you know, out there. Lemon, will he be good? I think Lemon will end up being somewhere along the lines of what we think of when we think of Jordan Addison. At least, early on, he might, develop later on. But I would say production wise, what you got from a young Jordan Addison, you can probably expect the same thing from Lemon, is what I'm anticipating to see. And so I feel like that's gonna help. Jalen Hurts is going to feel a different kind of pressure here because now there's no, as he would probably think of, a diva in his ear demanding a football. So you can go out there and play the position, spread it around, but he's got to hit those mid-range passes. He got to. But this is going to force the Eagles to recommit to Saquon Barkley, just like we saw 2 years ago. People forget just how amazing Saquon Barkley was 2 years ago. I think he returns back to form, to closer to what he was 2 years ago as opposed to what we saw last year. And they're going to have to get back to running the ball through him. And from that, that's going to help Jalen Hurts back off of play action and stuff. Because now, defenses, they're going to come up. And so play fake, hit your guy. Because Jalen can throw it deep. He just can't throw it over the middle. He can throw it deep. He can throw it short, just not over the middle. But hey, he'll find ways to win games. The defense is great. They will find a way. Oh, I see the Patriots creating a turnover there. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. As he Mike says, the downtown Atlanta nice. JB does not spend a lot of time in downtown Atlanta to keep it a buck. If there's traffic, you won't find JB. So JB does not spend a lot of time in downtown Atlanta. But, for those that don't mind traffic, everything else there about it, oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's nice. All right, 10 minutes, I'm sorry, 9 minutes and 55 seconds to go here in the second quarter of play. Pittsburgh still trying to get their first point of the game, and Will Howard is in there at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The former Buckeye, and prior to that, former Kansas State Wildcat, lines up under center, play fake. Howard throws it, gets the completion to the receiver, picked up 12 yards and a first down. This is a big opportunity for Howard to show the world what has he been working on the past season. Let's see, Mike says, Cowboys, who did they ever get to be better? You say they need to move on from Dak. Dak can do better. So you say they need to move on from Dak or Dak needs to move on from them. So let's see. RC says, Mike, I wouldn't sleep in my car there. All right, so 9:09 to go here in the second quarter. Let's see. Mike says, I enjoyed Beck and the LSU long name Nuss quarterback. And so, yes, it was a Nussmeyer. So let's see. Mr. JB says the school of Pittsburgh. All right, 2nd and 10 coming up for the Steelers. Gonna run the ball and get brought down for a loss of a yard on the play. That play was going nowhere at all. So they're at their own 30-yard line here. And again, if you're a Steelers fan, you know what held you guys back last year was the offense. So you want to see a little something, regardless who's in there. You want to see a little spark or something. And so Mike asks, "This house survive the tornado?" My bad. I'm tripping, RC. I'm tripping. End of Oak Street. I am tripping. Appreciate that. All right, 3rd and 11. Howard on the move and goes out of bounds after being brought down from behind. And that's one thing that certainly is different from college. Because at college, he would have probably been able to run out of that. But at the NFL, with everybody being so fast, you're not going to run away from that. So I never understand. This is always a pet peeve of mine. You're the quarterback. That means you got to use your brain more than anybody else. Little stuff like that. When you're trying to run near the sideline and you end up losing a couple yards, when all you got to do is throw the ball away. Throw the ball away. You won't lose any yards because, hey, football is a game of inches. Those 2, 3 yards can make all the difference, especially with punting the ball, field position. You just got to think about everything. Let's see, Arthur says, and I'm about to use my plug to check it out tonight after the late WNBA game goes off. Okay, okay. Let's see, Mike says, dang, you're knowledgeable as always, JB. I try. But nah, JB half the time. For me, it's memorizing the names. Like a lot of times I remember something happened, but it seems like lately I'm just more forgetful of player names and stuff, but it's probably because I spent the entire off season just being idle, just working on side projects and stuff. So you know how that goes. As Mike says, maybe Shipley can go to the Jets. You say AJ is a training wheel receiver. You just need ball close by, and he will catch the tud there. And so, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and so as long as AJ is happy, I mean, hey, this is the same AJ Brown that's on the sideline reading books and stuff like that, occasionally reading books and stuff. So keeping the mind sharp on the sideline, gotta love it. But yeah, especially when he's motivated. That's one thing I will say. He puts up numbers, especially you get a quarterback like Drake May. Drake May, the thing that I like the most about Drake May is that he throws a beautiful deep ball. Like I do not exaggerate when I say that Drake May throws a beautiful deep ball. And obviously Drake May will use his legs and stuff like that in the game as well to keep the defense from just sitting back as well. So it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be real nice. And it says, hey JB, was look at Georgia search for tornado at Mississippi May 6, 2026. Bet. Mike says Hurts deserves what he gets if he don't run in playoffs like last year. Yeah, he's got to stick to his strength, but you know how it goes, Mike. You know exactly how football works. And this is what works against scrambling quarterbacks usually is that as you get older, you tend to want to not take as many hits and so forth. So they tend to try to scramble a lot less and stuff like that. So we'll see what he does this year, but he's got to put pedal to the metal. He doesn't have that big contract anymore. It's not as big as it was before. It's time to go out there and earn that next contract now. So he gonna have to run. He ain't got no choice. All right, so yeah, so this game is on NFL Network. I'm watching it through YouTube TV, but NFL Network is the channel that this game is currently playing on. So again, it is on NFL Network. See, Mike says I go through Atlanta traffic sometimes. It is legit, not like Chicago or LA or New Jersey bad though. And so hey, it gets legit. Like I'm so glad I don't have to go across the interstate to go to work. Honestly, that would be that. I had to do it a couple years ago. That was really bad. Do not want to do that again. See, Mike says both Dak is stagnant in play. All right, another carry here, and he's gonna lose a yard in the play. And that was Jaden Nixon on a carry, lost 2 yards. That's his first carry today, Jaden Nixon. And again, guys, let me know in the chat here, what is your projection for both the Green Bay Packers and the Pittsburgh Steelers record-wise? If you want to give me a range, give me a range. Quick pass over the middle. Gets completed. He's going to be about half a yard shy of that first down marker, depending where they spot this ball at. 7 minutes left to go here before halftime. And again, Green Bay leading 3-0. Let's see. Mike says there will be some fun quarterbacks in college you shared the other day. Oh, for sure. That's what I love about this year in college football. There are seasons where you come into college football and you understand, like, okay, maybe this might be more of a big receiver year. Maybe it might be more of a big pass rush year. But this year is the year about quarterback, across the board. You have your quarterbacks that are coming back, even if we're not talking about who's coming back for the draft, but you have your names, like last year, Arch Manning. Coming into last year, everybody thought he was going to be a Heisman runaway. Didn't turn out that way, but he did play better as the year went on. He took his bumps and bruises early on, and he got better. And this year, he'll probably live up closer to the hype. You had Dante Moore decide to come back this year again. Julian Sain for Ohio State, he's coming back also. So many quarterbacks out there, Matt Tier down there at Oklahoma. How will Michigan quarterback look this year? Another year in the system, but I'm sorry, another year as a starting quarterback, but a new system with a coach who hopefully is focused on the team and not the staff members of the team and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting because there's a lot of, returning players. We got so many players that are like age 25 or older and stuff like that that's still playing against these kids that are like 17, 18 and stuff like that. The NCAA has really fostered so many of these older kids that refuse to either graduate, go to the next level, whatever it is, you know. But yeah, there's a lot. And then you've got the new faces like Josh Hoover transferring over from TCU, who's been in the game a long time, going to Indiana. I'm telling you guys, I'm a Buckeye fan, so I don't say it. But if I was being more neutral, Indiana's going to be just as scary again this year and stuff like that. I really feel like Indiana reloaded and stuff like that. I know they lost some key pieces that you can't make up for, but as the season goes on and those guys get experience, they could be almost as dangerous. Maybe not quite to the same degree, but not too far from it. And then you've got Notre Dame quarterback coming back, Carr again. Miami's got the kid from Duke. So many quarterbacks this year. And then we've got what's his name at South Carolina, who again, another guy who last year we thought was going to be a big name, but the team offensive line was terrible, and it really did impact him. Meanwhile, for Green Bay, reaching out for the first, did he get it? And that was Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord is quarterbacking right now for the Green Bay Packers. And if you say JB, that name sounds kind of familiar. Kyle McCord played at Ohio State. Not the year that well, yeah, he played with Marvin Harrison Jr. Then he ended up transferring to Syracuse his final year, and he played down there at Syracuse and did a good job for Syracuse, honestly. Let's see, Mike says all Jets quarterbacks are booty. You say, is Geno best in years? Maybe, but Jets is where quarterbacks go to die. And so Geno made sense because I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. Geno and what we saw with the Raiders last year was a product of just how bad the Raiders were last year, in all honesty. There was no game plan. Pete Carroll did not have them guys prepared. It was quite the opposite. Injuries and stuff. There was nobody to throw the football to down there for the Raiders. I mean, just look at the receivers and stuff. Geno can be okay. When I say okay, I'm just saying like, somewhere between 20, 25, if you just give him at least somebody to throw the ball to. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like the Jets have the best receiving core, but hey, they do have Garrett Wilson. That's already better than the passing targets they had down there at the Raiders. And then they drafted your boy Omar Cooper as well out of Indiana. So they're trying to do a little something. So Geno may be the best quarterback certainly in recent years for them because the Zach Wilson experiment that was terrible. We can all agree that was terrible. So yeah, but it's just a body. It's a body at this point here. Someone who, if your receivers are good, he can get them the football. That's it. It's not going to put you over the hump. It's not going to make you that competitive. It's just not going to happen. And so Omar Cooper, wide receiver from Indiana. You probably remember him from the championship game. Had some clutch passes all last season. If I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, Black Medicine, but Omar Cooper was the receiver that Indiana had. If you guys remember Indiana versus Penn State was on the verge of beating Indiana, and Mendoza found Cooper in the end zone at the end of the game to win it, with I think like no time left on the clock to beat Penn State, which would have been a big upset if Penn State could have pulled that off against Indiana last season. And Cooper makes big plays like that. I remember against Ohio State, he had plays as well that he made against us. He can go up there and get the football in tight coverage. He can get the ball in the red zone on those one-on-one situations. So I like his game. It's going to translate well to the NFL. Kenyon Sadiq coming from the Oregon Ducks at tight end. So yeah, Jets took him in the first round. I honestly thought he was going to be drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because I felt like he would have fit a need of what they have, but the Jets was like, hey, we need to be explosive and stuff. So yeah, so Sadiq, good player at Oregon. I don't anticipate that he's going to have like a huge outbreak. He's not going to be like last year when the coach took Tyler Warren. It won't end up being anything like that, but he could end up, 3 years from now being a pretty good, starting tight end that's capable of being involved in the passing game, I feel like. All right, again, we're here in the second quarter, 2 minutes and 39 seconds left to go, and it's still 3-0. It's still 3-0. All right, let's see. Mike says, yeah, I knew early last year we are wrecked when I watched my Mays pass. And so, oh yeah, those deep balls were absolutely stunning because that's what I saw that even in the preseason. I know it's just the preseason, but certain things you can see in the preseason how a guy throws the football and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, this guy's throwing it on the money. I'm like, if only because these receivers that we had last year, they don't get separation. They really don't get separation. So May has to throw it perfectly to get the football to him so they can catch it, and he was able to do that. Now obviously as the season went on, he started dealing with a little bit of injuries, and the offensive line failed him so badly last year, so badly. Heck, I've been seeing Will Campbell's been getting to work in training camp, and so his arms are just not long enough. They're just not long enough. All right, 2nd and 6 here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are going to hand the ball to the back here, who's going to be about half a yard shy of the first down marker. So Samuel says, drop the link. All right, let me drop the link again. JB will drop the link. And again, guys, check it out. It's free to sign up, but if you sign up, you'll be able to do our weekly pick'ems and stuff. Because normally, usually we go through a site like ESPN or something, do the weekly pick'ems. But this is one that I created myself, so I get to hand pick all the teams that I want, especially important for college football for the weekly pick'ems. And so I've already got that set up there to where you sign up. You can go ahead and if you want it to it early, I myself am going to wait a little bit, but there's more to it as well. You can check out, different team schedules and stuff. It has news as well in terms of like the latest news. So check out the website there that I've been working on and let JB know your thoughts as well when you do sign up. Let's see. Mike says Eagle fans have a saying, long live Jerry Jones. Yeah, they're the reason why he's still kicking and ticking because they're like, yes, keep doing what you're doing, Jerry. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's see. Mike says, dang, how many first did the Jets have? Reading the roster. Did they have like 3 first round picks this past year? What's funny is that with all the first round picks they had, I'm like, they better hope that they panned out right on this one. They better hope that they got this right. But I feel like they had 3 this past draft, but correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. Brayhawk says JB's all-time favorite Ohio State quarterback, Kyle McCoy. Man, I was so pissed at Kyle McCoy, man. His last game that he played for us at Ohio State, man, I was beyond pissed with him. I should say when his last game against Michigan specifically, I was so disappointed in Kyle McCoy because I was like, I know you're a better passer than that. You have these mental mistakes from time to time. But when he went to Syracuse, I was hurt at first that he left. I wanted him to finish with Ohio State, but hey, we're not going to beg nobody to stay, and it worked out for us. It worked out for us. Will Howard took over, got us a championship. Leslie Bragg says, watch for Devon Dampier and Kevin Jennings this year. That's right. Kevin Jennings is that name sounds familiar. That's SMU, right? Is he still at SMU? Let's see. Lenora Sellers. That's right. Mike says we root Sellers. And so I'm really rooting for a comeback. I do want to see South Carolina at least reach like 8, 9 wins. I want them to replace what Vanderbilt has been the last couple years. That's what I want to see from South Carolina, is that happens. Who's going to be starting for Florida this year now that DJ Lagway went to Baylor? So who's going to be starting for the Florida Gators this year? And man, Florida's so bad. They just ran out their so-called biggest recruit just like that. I'm about to say, wait a minute, it's 8 o'clock or past 8 o'clock already. I see the Raiders playing. I'm like, man, time is flying by. Time is flying by. But this is what we like, man. We love football. That's what we do. Mike says, no, Mike's on the Chief. Yeah, he's right where he needs to be, where he can just be on the bench, learn, and hope that some of that greatness rubs off on him. Because I'm telling you, if he went to a team that did not have a big time quarterback, they'd be pushing for him to see what he can do. He doesn't need that pressure. All right, let's see. Mike says, but JB, I always say Jets and Raiders are where quarterbacks go to die. Do you think that Mendoza can change that? I feel like Mendoza can be a part of that change, and he can change that so long as the Raiders stay committed to building things the right way and help him out. As in, they're gonna have to get some receivers. So Kirk may have to play half the season this year. If they don't have receivers, they got tight ends. Obviously, they got the running back that they drafted. Just got to work on the offensive line a little bit more, and also get you some receivers, some bona fide receivers, help them out. Let's see. Mike says, is Mike Evans washed? Because if not, I forgot 49ers got him. Here's my honest opinion, Mike. I feel like when you think about Mike Evans, you think about what has he done so far in his career, right? With all those years of the streak for the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, right? So when I look at him, now this is not the same level. So I don't want anybody to misquote JB and be like, oh, JB saying that Mike Evans is the same as Jerry Rice, because that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just talking about how Jerry Rice aged and stuff like that. Mike Evans, if he's not injured, Mike can still go out there and be productive. Mike can still be a 1,000-yard receiver, get you about 7, 8 receiving touchdowns, and hey, you got a really good quarterback, maybe even 10. But that's what I can see for Mike Evans, especially in San Francisco, where they got more than 20 people injured on their roster. We haven't even seen them play a preseason game yet and stuff like that. So therefore, that tells me, because what they're gonna do? They're gonna summon Brandon Ayuk, like what? Use Monster Reborn from the graveyard or something like that. What are they gonna do with him? No. So basically, Debo Samuel, he was already not that receiver in terms of just running routes. They just move him around and stuff like that. So Evans, if he is healthy, San Francisco better hope that he's not washed. I don't think he's washed. I think he's still got about 2 years left in him. I don't think he's washed, but hey, the question is he healthy? That's the question. So San Francisco desperately need him. Let's see. Braden says horrible pocket awareness by McCoy. And you say, yep, he caught that pass versus Penn State. Okay, JB, no, he wasn't tripping there. Because speaking of Penn State, I see them rebounding this year. They got an easy schedule and a reloaded roster. And so Rocco Beck is a solid QB2. I do see them rebounding as well. I just have to look and see their Big Ten. Well, you said it's an easy schedule, so I guess that means they're avoiding most of the top teams there. That's going to be important, but they certainly can, finish, about that. I say about 17, 18, 19 range is what I see for them in terms of rankings. Once we actually see them on a football field, I can see that. Let's see. Mike says, I predict the Cardinals, terrible 49ers, 9 wins, Seattle 10 wins, but fall. Rams win the conference there. For the Rams, it's going to come down so much to being healthy. Matthew Stafford has to be healthy. Their receivers, they have to be healthy. Puka Nakua's got to stop acting up out the field there, stay focused, stay healthy, be 100% out there because they need him. They need him to have a monster season. They need that. They're so reliant on their top guys, it's not even funny. If those guys go down, that drastically reduces the window. But when you have an addition like Miles Garrett, yes, that team can certainly do it, but they are an older team. So keep that in mind for the second half of the season as well. And San Francisco, I mean, I just talked about the injuries with them. Cardinals, yeah, Cardinals gonna be terrible for sure. You can bank that. And you say Seahawks with 10 wins. I got to see their schedule, but 10, 11 wins, I can see that as well for them. All right, let's see. Braden says, yeah, your website is nice, JB. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Like I continuously update the website almost every day. But since I'm streaming this week here, I'll probably end up spending some more time Sunday working on it. But yeah, you guys, let me know how you feel about the games that I chose for college football, especially week 1 for the college football for the pick'ems. I think I chose like 36 games to choose from for the pick'ems there. So yeah, a lot of games there. But hey, it really tests your knowledge there in terms of college football. Mike says, chat, what do you think? And so Samuel says free sign in. So yeah, it's free to sign up. It'll ask you for your email, but it will not ask no money. So it is free to sign up. And by signing up, you'll be able to, each week do the weekly pick'ems and stuff that I'm going to be doing through that. And also monitor, like the news and stuff, college football, NFL. Eventually there's going to be some, NBA, college hoops that will be added as well once we get closer to that season. So yeah. And so Mike says, you see an edge first. They will be terrible in style. Let's see. Braden says, yep. SMU's quarterback. How do y'all feel about SMU, Louisville, and the ACC in general? Who do y'all have as the top, I'm going to say top five teams in the ACC if you could rank them in order? And so, what's good? What's good? It's been a minute. It's been a minute. How we doing? How we doing? And so Mike said, start my guy Willis in Miami. Oh yeah, he's gonna be QB1. He's gonna be QB1. And so I want to watch what Willis does, because he's a guy that I have been thinking like, fantasy football. I'm trying to think best case scenario if Malik Willis really were to go out there, because the receivers he have, is not going to be big name receivers there. So he's got to be run first. And they're going to be losing a lot. So that means defense is going to be dropping back. He's going to be running. I mean, when I say he's going to be running, they're going to call this man the freight train when it's all said and done. I'm already starting to nickname. They're going to call this man the freight train, and he gonna be chucking, up using his legs to run and make it do what it do. Let's see. Braden says Colin Oliver might be a breakout player this season. So we almost saw a touchdown there. Almost. Mike said, I have no idea about Mendoza. He said Twitter gives him hate and stuff like that. I mean, it's about the intangibles, it's about getting a quarterback, because this is stuff that you just cannot measure. How bad does a guy really want it? The Raiders, the last time they made the first overall pick, they made a mistake. They drafted a guy that did not want it in Jamarcus Russell. That, like, the coaching staff literally gave this man a blank tape, told him, hey, watch this, and tell us what plays you like and stuff. Then we're gonna discuss it tomorrow. So then he shows up the next day and he ain't watched it. He ain't watched it at all. He says, yeah, 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 I watched it. Yeah, I'm good with them all. And it's like, nah, man, you got to be a student of the game. Mendoza shows up to practice, and there's a certain vibe that the veterans are talking about him that he wants it now. Like, even though he's not the starter, he wants every play. You can't coach that. That's someone that's going to do everything they can to be ready for their situation. So if anybody can turn around the Raiders' bad luck, it's got to be him, because the Raiders can't stay bad forever, right? All right, let's see. Mike says Panthers glow up, Saints hit a little harder, Buccaneers fall apart, Baker seething, Falcons is over. So you think Baker's going to fall apart this year, knowing that it's what, a contract year, knowing that his team does not believe in him, you know? All right, let's see. Mike says, anyone new in the chat, share with us your team. And so Oz says Bears. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I tell you what though, for them Chicago Bears, what is, I guess, the ceiling for the Chicago Bears? Like, does anybody here believe that Chicago has a chance at a Super Bowl? Does anybody really go on record and say that they got the Bears going to the Super Bowl right here, right now? All right, so Brayhawk says toughest games for Penn State are Michigan, Washington, and USC. Oh man, they're gonna bounce back then. They're gonna bounce back for real. Like, I mean, not to say that any of those games would be easy, but they certainly, Washington is beatable. USC, I don't know where that game is gonna be at. Is it gonna be at USC or at Penn State? Because I would like the home team in that one. And then against Michigan, if you catch Michigan on a bad night, the offense ain't moving the ball, maybe. Maybe it just depends on if they're gelling that time, Penn State or not. I don't know, because when they had, Tyler Warren, Alar, all of them, they couldn't beat Michigan then. So, but at least two of the three. Is that a touchdown for Pittsburgh? That is a touchdown indeed. So Pittsburgh gets a touchdown. We got a touchdown, guys. We got a touchdown. Let's see. Braden says Miami, SMU, Virginia, Georgia Tech. I'm sorry, Clemson, Georgia Tech. I probably, with my list, I would probably swap Georgia Tech with Louisville this year, and that would probably be my top five. So Miami, SMU, Virginia, Clemson, but replace Georgia Tech with Louisville. I don't know what to expect from Georgia Tech this year, in all honesty, but I know what to expect from Louisville. I feel like Louisville, honestly, could probably be ahead of Clemson as well. So I probably would put Louisville four ahead of Clemson. Let's see. Braden says it's smart that Mendoza isn't starting right away. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You don't make a situation like that because I feel like obviously with first overall picks, it varies from time to time. Like you think about a young Cam Newton, I was saying, hey, you got to play him because you got Jimmy Clausen. Jimmy Clausen's horrible. I don't want to see the kid again and stuff like that. And so, and you had a receiver like a Steve Smith. So I was like, yeah, I co-sign that. Go ahead, do it. But Mendoza, no offense to Trey Tucker, but he's the only receiver I can think of outside of what Beck, and I haven't seen Beck on the field that much. So yeah, I don't want my starting quarterback to lose confidence just because we don't have the receivers that can help him and stuff. So it is smart for him not to start right away, and then start losing confidence. The fans will start saying, "Oh, he's a bust. I knew it." So yeah. Greyhawk says no chance. And my Bears are a mystery team. Let's see. Bragg says SMU has a tough schedule. Tough conference schedule or just tough schedule in general? All right, so again, 46 seconds left here before halftime, guys. The score right now, it is Pittsburgh 7, Green Bay 3. And you guys can see the scoreboard just fine, right? Let me know if I need to make the scoreboard bigger. Somebody let me know in the chat. But if it's good, then yeah. So you say tough in general. Okay, well that's good then. That's good. That's gonna help them be a better team in all honesty. RC says Kirk Rubbings. Let's see. Brayhawk says yes. Okay, bet. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Looks like Spencer Rattler's going to be getting the start for the Saints tomorrow. Pass is complete. You guys tell me what's the name of? I'm gonna narrow it down to quarterback for the sake of this conversation. But who's a quarterback that has played recently that if you never hear his name come up for another starting game, another preseason game, you would definitely not miss hearing his name ever again. He could be that bad of a player to where you're like, if I never see this quarterback suit up again, I am forever grateful to not have to watch that again. So I want to put these guys on the spot here. So if you guys can think of a quarterback that's just that bad that you're like, I don't want to see this kid play ever again. I'm done. I'm gonna write him off. Let me know. So Halloween was good. And you say, Will Howard, that is all. Was good. All right, Braden. I saw that comment, Braden. We're gonna have to we got to argue. You took the one guy I was about to say, Brayhawk. As the RC said, JB, see you say that, but what about Jackson Dart from last year? He was okay for a rook. And so he was okay, but he didn't have to start from day one. He didn't. And you saw what happened with his concussions. Maybe he shouldn't have played, not because of ability, but for durability and stuff like that, to actually learn how to slide, to actually learn you don't just try to run through guys and stuff like that. But people were tired of the Russell Wilson experiment. Sometimes it does get to the point during the season where you're like, hey, we got to play the guy. But I go back to when the Dolphins started Tua over Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was having a career year that year. And the Dolphins, they were benefiting because of it. I was happy as a Patriot fan that they went away from him and stuff like that. But that was a mistake on their end, just trying to put Tua in just because he was, their first round pick. Let's see. But yeah, I was gonna say Tim Boyle as well. Gosh, I was gonna say that name there, Braden. I felt special, like I was gonna say something, but you took the guy with the first with your first comment there. So that's a name that I do not ever want to have to see start again. But all right, we're at halftime now. All right, so yeah, so Halloween says the same thing that everybody's thinking there. Like Mason Rudolph, still a Steeler right there. Yeah, you got. I mean, at some point, it's like, look, you got four quarterbacks here. Let the young guys develop and play. Well, develop behind Aaron Rodgers so that way you can see, like, okay, are they the future? You can figure that out. You can figure that out. Me personally, I'd have told Rodgers, like, hey, man, like, look, we appreciate your services and stuff like that, but we good. As long as we believe in one of these two backups and stuff like that, we good. But absolutely. Let's see. Braden says Desmond Ritter. Yeah, not the most fun at all. I'm just glad that we got away from the days of putting Taysom Hill back there at quarterback. I'm glad that those days are done. Let's see. Halloween says that Will Howard is the future. You think that he's going to be the future there long term? I do. I can see a scenario where after this season, Pittsburgh says, you know what, we are going to go ahead and obviously throughout training camp, let Will Howard, let Drew Allard compete, and then end up choosing Will Howard, the better of the two, to be the future quarterback. I can certainly see that being the case. RC says, I don't want to see Deshaun Watson no more. You're right, RC, you're right. But hey, the same way we don't want to see him, the Browns don't want to pay him no more, but they ain't got no choice. They ain't got no choice. But that's a good one right there, because Deshaun, that story's been old. I don't understand. Like, just move on from him. Just move on, see what Shador can do, and then move on from him too. Most likely is what you're gonna end up doing. But you're right, you're right, you're right. Darcy says, I still think I'm dreaming when I wake up and see Riley Leonard on an NFL roster. Hey, you gonna mess around? He's gonna be QB2. He's gonna be QB2. Let's see. Samuel says, JB, take a look top of the leaderboard view all. All right, let JB take a look here. All right, let's see. Leaderboard. All right. All right, JB's looking here now. Okay, bet, 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 bet. I see you, Samuel. I see you. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a little race this year. It's gonna be a little race for sure. Weekly pick. All right, let me see. Can I actually share my screen since we're at halftime here? All right, so I'm gonna attempt to see if I can share the website there for anybody that hasn't seen what it looked like, just so you guys can, take a look through it and see what it looked like. So let's go ahead. All right, let's see. Oh, it says Will Howard put Kansas State on the map for a season, then transferred to Ohio State and won a national title, and he's a winner. And you know what? That is something, Halloween, that I have been saying. I know I said it yesterday in reference to a guy like Jalen Hurts, but these kids that come in at the college level and they just learn how to win. Sometimes everybody's got like a little special ability and stuff like that. Sometimes being able to win is a special ability. So why not see what the kid can do? You're right about that. Give the kid an opportunity. I'd much rather see him take over the realms right now than to go through another guy that we already know he's past his prime. His prime. He's just out there, last season, not going to elevate more than what he did last year, and that's not enough. That's not enough of where the NFL is right now. The defense is great. You just need to have that quarterback that can just go out there and just add some excitement to the offense. Honestly, that's what it is. Let's see. Archie says, JB, do you think JJ McCarthy is broken? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, RC. Do I think JJ McCarthy is broken? No. I don't think he's broken. I'm gonna tell you why. I mean, he can't be broken because this is who he is. He was always this. At the college level, the handoff merchant. What was he known for? Handing the ball off. That was it. Hand the ball off and a little throw to the tight end every once in a while for a little 8 to 10 yards, occasionally 12, 14. That was it. That was it. Like it wasn't like he was out there throwing 300 yards. He'd be out there. I forget the teams that they played. They be playing some weak teams, man. Some weak teams, and he'll go out there throw for 250 and get his yards in that game. Then in the big game, he'll just do the occasional play fake and stuff like that. But that's it. That's it. McCarthy was never the kind of guy that was going to air it out. So I never understood why they felt like drafting him at the quarterback position was going to change anything. If we're in 2006, 2007, and the competition is either him or Jamarcus Russell, then yes, give me JJ McCarthy and stuff like that. But we're talking about today's NFL. No, he didn't do it at the college level. He's not doing it at the NFL level. So is he broken? No, because to say somebody's broken means that they were once fixed and then all of a sudden they got broke. No, this is just who he is. He's always been that bad. He just won because Michigan was a really good team. He did not contribute to that whatsoever. Whatsoever. All right. Halloween says, yes, sir. And I appreciate you coming through there, Halloween. Glad to have you on, man. Glad to have you on. And glad to have everybody else here. RC, you guys. I mean, hey, without you guys, I'd be talking to myself, and that would not be exciting at all. Wait, is that Marvin Harrison Jr. scoring a touchdown? No, y'all not going to do that. Y'all not going to try to get JB to draft this boy in fantasy football, and then he stopped doing that. We're not going to let a little preseason touchdown change JB's mind. Y'all can't do that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to switch my screen here. So bear with JB for a second here as I attempt to share, because I do want you guys to see, those of you that haven't got to see it yet, the website here. All right, so I don't know what is happening here. Why did my screen just do that? All right, let's see. All right, it's fixed now. All right, so let me know, guys, if you guys can actually see the website behind me or not. Just someone in the chat, let me know, is it too small? Can you guys actually read what it says? You guys let JB know. And again, doing this right now because we're still at halftime, so we do have the time right now before I switch it back. But yes, someone in the chat just let JB know. If you can read what's behind me without any problems, or if I need to make it bigger, let me know that as well. That's right. I forgot that Arnold was a part of that arrest. All right, so yeah, just to take you guys through it real quick here. So I'll start off at the community page here. So I'll start off with the weekly picks here, as I referenced earlier. All right, so if we look at the leaders board here, weekly picks, open weekly picks here. Oh man, Anthony Richardson out there scrambling, and he lost the ball. Should have known that was going to happen. But yeah, and so then just of course, weekly picks, you select who you got. Of course, your boy's going to end up taking the Patriots here against the Seahawks here, because why not? But then you just go through. I've got it set up also for college football as well. And then also, and that's week 0 here. So some of the week 0 games. And then week 1. Let's see. Samuel says, hey, Josh, with live stream forecast, UJB. And so, Samuel, let me know. Can you see the website just fine or no? All right. And again, I'm going to return it back to the screen it was prior. Just want to showcase the website there. But yeah, a lot of games up already. All right, so yeah, basically you've got that. And also my streaming schedule as well. I'd appreciate that there, Samuel. Appreciate that. So yeah, a lot more stuff there, but I will stop there and switch us back. Right. All right, so just setting it back up. Right, there we go. Samuel says, yes, JB, appreciate that. And RC says, I've been not feeling that well, JB. Plus, when I went to the doctor, they said my weight went from 208 pounds to 268. Keep in mind, you're only 5'10" there. And so I feel like I've been on the opposite journey there in terms of like, well, I'm at, let's see, last time, I think they said I was at about I think I might have been at 208. And so they want me to get down to like 170. I'm like, JB don't know about that. JB probably can co-sign like, like 185, 190 around that range. But for JB to get back to 170, oh man. But tell me this, RC, like when you say you haven't been feeling well, how long have you not been feeling well, RC? Like talk to JB, figure out what's going on here. Samuel says, nice job. Appreciate that, Samuel. I appreciate that. And again, as we wait right now at halftime, you've been packing on the pounds and need to cool out there. And so, oh man, RC. And so I tell you what, man, I mean, well, tell me this, RC, throughout the course of the day, because I know that you spend a lot of time, driving around and stuff, different places and stuff like that. Um, but I'm trying to think and stuff like that, because sure, I know it myself. I just been, pretty busy and stuff like that. But since I've been dealing with, like diabetes and stuff, that's why I'm losing weight and stuff like that, just because of, that, obviously the insulin and stuff. So that's what's really been bringing me down. Because before, I think I was around like 240, 245-ish. Trying to think, was that somewhere around that range? Like years ago, JB was around that range and stuff like that. But what I did, I remember I had actually lost. This is going back to like my college days. So after undergraduate and when I was, graduate, so attending the University of Florida, I had went from 245 to I think like 205 in the span of about 3.5 months, where I was basically losing about 10 pounds a month. And I'm talking about, I was doing like treadmill for about an hour a day, about 5 times, sometimes 6 times out the week for an hour a day. But I would put the incline on the maximum because, like, I would be looking at other people on the treadmill or doing a bike, and I would be comparing, like, okay, so such and such was on the bike for 30 minutes, it says, and I only see about, 300 calories burnt and stuff like that, 200 calories. Whereas I know by the time I hit 30 minutes on the treadmill with the incline, it's almost as high as it can go, probably about, 12, 13, 14, 15 for the incline. And I'm burning already about, 500 something and stuff, maybe even 600. And then it's not a sprint. It's not a sprint for me. It's just walking at a speed walk pace that you can manage for a long time. Find you some videos, some music, whatever it takes to make the time go by. And so that's what they do. Oh, that's what I did. Let's see. Samuel said you lost two people in the sub there, Samuel. When's the last time that you made a post, Samuel? And yeah, JV lost quite a few as well during my hiatus. I think I really only went down maybe like three from when I last streamed there, but JV understands. Let's see. RC says about 5 days you've been lethargic, minimum energy, battling headache, stomach issues, and even had bad sinus flare-ups. And it muffled one ear on and off. You went to the doctor at least twice this week? Oh man. So they offered suggestions, gave you three warnings, and gave you three different prescriptions. We'll see. So they've narrowed it down to potentially what they believe an educated guess of three potential things. And so they are trying to give you three different prescriptions for each one, or they believe that you're like they've already diagnosed it. They know what it is. It's just three different things you're dealing with. And so, as you said, you don't be eating the most healthiest foods. You know that, and so you overindulge in too much soda and juice. JB understands. JB understands. That's why JB is exactly where he's been at, over the last couple of years there. So I certainly do understand that. Because I mean, it's just when you work so hard, it's become the most easiest way to reward yourself, whether you're feeling stressed and stuff. Some people turn to, whatever the alternative may be, but food is just that feel good in the moment, instant feel good. And trying to replace that is hard. And JB loves, soft drinks as much as as much as the next and stuff like that. Really does, So I understand that. I understand that. All right, so here goes the Pittsburgh Steelers here with the football from their own 14-yard line here, or their own 13-yard line. All right, so Howard up under center here, two receivers, two tight ends, one back, play fake. Howard looking. Howard throws it short, gets the completion there. Running back holds onto the ball there, but he's going to lose about half a yard there on a cat. But hey, good job, fighting to hold on to the ball. All right, he says, no, they didn't diagnose anything, but they told me what they think it could be and want me to catch up with an appointment with my main primary care doctor. And so, okay, okay, I feel you there. I feel you. I mean, JV's got to go, couple radiologist appointments and stuff coming up, follow-up appointments next week even. All right, so we got a carry here by Nichols for the Pittsburgh Steelers here. Nice carry on the play. Again, here in the third quarter, Pittsburgh winning 7-6 right now, and Pittsburgh with the football. 13 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Mason Rudolph had himself a game today at 10 of 11 for 93 yards passing. All right, let's see. Samuel says it was your freight train video that you released Friday, May 29th, 2026, posted 2 months ago. Okay, okay. Hey, when is the next video coming out, Samuel? When is the next video coming out? I got a feeling Samuel's going to be making a video about a birthday party. He's going to be crashing a random birthday party and walk away with a birthday cake. That's going to be the video. As Darcy says, and if that wasn't enough, you say your blood pressure has been darting all over the place. You say you're trying not to worry about it too much. However, you say you and your lady ate almost a whole box of pizza by yourself. I'm gonna tell you this, RC, back in JB's heyday, and when I say JB's heyday and stuff like that, like back around 20, was it 2014? Yeah, 2014. I remember August 21st, 2014. That was when JB's mother passed away back then. So sometime after that period, I remember being on campus, my car was in the shop, and so I would just order Domino's pizza or either Pizza Hut, and I by myself would be able to eat two large pizzas in one sitting and not feel full. That was at JV's worth of his worth. That was how I started elevating myself during that time. And so, like, JV had to get away from that. I had to get away from that. That is not sustainable long term. And that's just, that was just one person going to two large pizzas back then. So believe me, JB understands. JB's still working out plans to improve because that's what hurts my energy when it comes to being able to stream long term is that I don't have the energy because, diabetes eats away at that. Yes, you say, JB, I can't be doing that. You said I must have ate 8 to 10 slices the night the pizza arrived. Yeah, we cannot do that at all. I mean, we can still enjoy, nice foods and stuff because when you try to go completely clean, that's when you eventually crash and stuff like that. So for me, I told myself there are going to be 4 days where I really restrict myself to the healthiest that I can tolerate for 4 days. And then I was going to save myself, 2 or 3 days, depending on how I've been doing prior. Like if I've been doing good for a while, then I can make it 3 days. If I haven't, then I gotta narrow it down to 2 days. And even in the 2 days, I had to learn that I can't go crazy during those 2 days because it will negate the previous, 5 days of hard work. And so just find some type of balance, something that's enjoyable. Maybe not my top favorite, but you know how that works. Or as you said, you had Popeyes yesterday because, see, well, it was offered. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. Where Popeyes is that for you, that would have been KFC for me. Honestly, I think McDonald's would probably be one of the struggles there. Um, McDonald's, Wendy's, because like Wendy's is just really easy to get and stuff because they're typically cheaper. Because if you try to eat clean, and for someone like myself who does a good amount of DoorDash ordering and stuff, it's like, hey, it's gonna cost you about twice that price to get you something that's more healthier, unfortunately, than to get something that's, like cheaper available. Maybe you find a good deal or something, but you know how that works. All right, and again, score right now, Pittsburgh 7, Green Bay 6, third quarter, 11 minutes and 12 seconds to go right now. And referee just called the penalty, and that was on Green Bay. Too many men on the field. Kenneth, what's good? Kenneth says, "Hey, my friends, how's it going? Yeah, everything is going great. The only thing that can make tonight better is if tonight was already Friday night, so we can have the weekend. But hey, there's football. JB's happy. We're having a great time, great chat. So JB is doing good. But how about yourself? You say you're doing good tonight and spending time with your mom. How's your mom doing? Tell her that JB said hello, and I hope that all is well." And again, JB's next live stream is going to be Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The Browns versus the Chicago Bears. That's going to be the game that JB does stream. So if you're kind of curious how the Cleveland Browns quarterback competition is going, that's the game to watch. As we'll get to see Deshaun Watson, we'll get to see Shador, we'll even get to see Dylan Gabriel and Talon Green as well, rookie quarterback out of Arkansas. So Kenneth said had Longhorn Steakhouse for dinner tonight. Man, Kenneth, stay getting W's over there. That is not a bad option myself. Here we are talking about all this food. Oh man. Nancy Archie says, JB, my whole thing is I don't like turning down meals. I got a real big back on my back. I feel you, man. I feel you with that one. I do, especially if hey, it's being offered and stuff like that. It's hard to say no, especially with everything being so expensive. So if you're talking about somebody offering, they're gonna pay and stuff like that for it. Oh man. Wait, is that Mendoza in there lighting it up? Okay, okay. As the RC says, will it be televised the upcoming game? Yeah, that game will be also on this net on NFL Network as well, which is why I chose to stream that one. Because for preseason games, I got to make sure first that I can actually see the game also. All right, quick pass there, caught, picked up a couple passes there to the tight end, Drake Dabney for 4 yards. And again, that is Kyle McCord flinging it around there for the Green Bay Packers. McCourt up under center here. One back in the backfield from their own 11-yard line. Let's see. RC says, JB, were you mad when LeBron left the Lakers? In all honesty, RC, I was not mad when he left the Lakers. I was like, all right, so we can finally stop going through the whole drama stuff year after year after year after year after year. At some point, he was going to leave and stuff like that. I'm like, look, we got Luca. We got to cater to him. We can't cater to him and you at the same time and stuff like that. I'm like, if you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. So when he chose the left, I said, "Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you," and I kept it moving. So I was not mad when LeBron said he wanted to leave the Lakers and stuff like that. I was like, "All right, that's cool," you know. So that's how I felt about it. But him going to Philly, now that was a good decision for him. I'm just trying to figure out how did we get to the point where my Lakers got to beg for a guy like Jonathan Kuminga to come in and save us? Like I'm just trying to figure out how did we get to this point? Like that's what I'm thinking. That once you paid AR, he said the writing was on the wall for him. I mean, hey, I figured that too, but I felt like he didn't want to be there anyways. He didn't want to be there anyways. I didn't want to lose AR also, and then we have nothing aside from Luca. So, hey, I just know that he better play. That's all I know. Pass completed there for a first down. Moving the sticks. Again, the score here in the third quarter with 8 minutes and 42 seconds to go. Pittsburgh 7, Green Bay 6, and Green Bay just moved the stick. That's a nice little side pass there by Kyle McCord, digging into his bag. That was a pickup of 9 yards on the play. All right, 8:17 to go in the third. Play fake. Kyle looking. Kyle going deep. And it is, oh, it's incomplete. Incomplete. I do like the fact he threw it where only his guy could get it, but his guy did not get it. As RC says, LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards for T-Wolves should be like NBA Jam. Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be a nice little combo, fun combo, I can say, fun combo for them and all the women that they have to support with the kids and stuff. But for Anthony Edwards, so yeah, that should be fun. Oh, okay, nice throw, nice throw. You know you're gonna get hit. You threw it, got that first down. Samuel says, "Hey JB, you say what? I don't know. You know the new video. You don't know what the new video is going to be yet. I'm telling you, it's going to be some type of Samuel celebration. You're going to do a celebration live stream for the chat. That's what you're going to do, Samuel. I can see it now. You throw up, go live, and we get to celebrate with Samuel. Oh yeah, he took a hit there, brought him down to the ground. RC says, "Will I believe that Carson Beck is going to be a star? I mean." Is it possible it can happen? Sure, it can happen. But am I gonna bank on it? I'm not gonna bank on it. Can he be a starter in this league? Yeah, he can be a starter in this league. I can say that. He can be a starter. But will he be a star in this league? I'm not gonna say the kid can't. I'm not gonna say the kid ain't. But he sure got an uphill battle to reach that. 'Cause there's a lot of good quarterbacks that go out there and they show a little flash, show a little something, but then you never see it again. As Samuel says, hey JB, say no AC in your home there. Hopefully it ain't too hot for you down there, because JB without AC, y'all gonna see JB sweating. I'm talking about I'm gonna be sweating as if I just preached at a Baptist church type sweating right there. You talking about no AC? All right, Mendoza out there throwing a little bit of touchdowns here and there. Okay. Let's see. RC said if Shador wasn't on the Browns, I wouldn't even watch. He said, I promise you, I wouldn't. Hey, you're right. You're right. You're right. Like this is only news because down there in Cleveland things are so bad. It's like we need something to hang our hats on. We need something, some type of headline coming out of Cleveland that like, oh, this is like that Madden type moment where you join the team, you become the starting quarterback, and you save the sorry franchise. But nah, that's probably not how it's going to play out. It's going to be bad either way. So somebody's coming tomorrow morning to fix the AC. Oh yeah, I hope he gets there very early there for you, Samuel, because without AC, that's that's really tough. That's really tough. I stepped outside today and I was like, oh no, let's not do this. Let us not do this. Hands it to the back here and gonna stop his forward progress there. Picked up a yard on the carry. That was Martinez. As the RC says, do I like Todd Monken? Not as the head coach for the Cleveland Browns, I don't. Not as a head coach. JB's gonna go ahead and put it now. It will not last all that long. I mean, I feel like you need a culture changer who knows what they're doing. And I don't think he knows what he's doing. I mean, and it doesn't help the quarterback situation he's currently got, but I'm just not sold. I'm just not sold. Like I felt like they could have did better. They could have did better. Or they should have tried to do better. I'd have been better off if they would have just kept what they said they were gonna do with what's his name? Jim Schwartz. If they'd have just kept their word with him and just made him the coach for this season if they really didn't have anybody that they could pull in to be the head coach for this year that wanted to go there. But so yeah, JB's not on board with that hire. She says, and then with the price of gas, you hate to run your car AC, but you kind of have to if you don't want to be miserable when you go outside. You're right about that. You're right about that. Speaking of gassing up, JB's got to gas up in the morning himself. So you're right about that. All right, third quarter here. Again, Pittsburgh up 7-6 against the Green Bay Packers. All right, shotgun formation, three receivers top of the screen here. Head to the back, and the back is going to pick up 4 yards in the play. And again, that is that yeah, Damian Martinez in the backfield. I'm trying to remember where Damian Martinez played his college football at last year. I know he used to be with the Miami Hurricanes, but then he transferred, I think. And then I'm trying to remember, did he go to I can't remember where he transferred to. As Archie said, that's how I feel about Don McDermott. He said should have been retained, but he got scapegoated. And so I felt bad about that too. I mean, I really did, considering what Buffalo was prior and then how they lost that game. It's not like they got blew out. They were right there. But I get it. Sometimes you just want to make the change just to see if you can find that one tweak that makes the difference. For the, like in a positive way as opposed to negative. So we'll see how it works out. But if I was making a call, yeah, I'd have kept him. I see Patriots are winning 10-7. Looks like Jam Miller is having himself quite the game there for the Patriots. I forgot he was on our team. Pick is up. Pick is good. All right, now RC says it's a good question here. It's a very good question. Which coach do I think is going to be on the flaming hot seat if their team gets off to a horrible start? Mm. Honestly, if their team doesn't get off to a hot start, who could feel the heat first? Well, I know a couple of teams that they will feel the pressure, but if we're saying like whose seat will be the hottest, or I would say that if the I gotta really think about this one for a second here. Give me a second here. Because part of me wants to say that if Cincinnati does not get off to a fast start, like if we're 5, 6 games in and we're looking at Cincinnati with just 1 or 2 wins, with the talent that they have, with the money that's been invested, with how long Zach Taylor's been there, that seat gets really hot for him. So I could say that for him. And Joshua says, why you ain't cover the Patriots? It's because I can't get the game, RC. I really wanted to cover the Patriots because my dad's, a Colt fan as well as me being a Patriot fan. So it would have been the perfect game there, but I don't get the channel that it's on. So I cannot get that game to stream it. So that is why I did not choose the Patriots for this one. Let's see. RC says, and to answer the question I just gave you, I'm going to say Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is certainly a good name there to hire. The one thing I would caution Detroit fans, because I see it happen all the time in college football, be careful when you release a coach because they haven't taken you somewhere that you were never going to go with any coach and stuff like that. You were just never going to get to the promised land, but they're a good coach. They keep you competitive. There are some schools that, quite frankly, compared to what they were before, where they were just consistently bad, then you finally get a coach that elevates you. Be careful firing that coach and thinking that you can get something better, because it really may not work out that way. He's established a culture. You ruin that, bring in someone else, you run the risk that they go back to being a 4-win team, a 3-win team, a team nobody wants to see. Okay, Jeremiah Love, I see you. Oh, wow. That was a nice explosive run. That Cardinals game is very interesting. If it had came on an hour earlier, now I probably still would have chose this one, but they look nice. Right, kickoff on the way. 4:25 to go here in the third quarter of play. All right, and again, Green Bay leading 9-7 here in the third quarter, 4 minutes and 21 seconds to go. All right, so now up under center here is that Drew Alar. Gonna be a run play. Gonna pick up 2 yards on the carry. Again, Green Bay up 9-7 here in the third quarter. 4:10 left to go. And that's Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson, the former Iowa Hawkeye in the backfield for Pittsburgh. They drafted him last year. I can't remember, was it second round, third round? but he had expectations that he was going to be the guy to split carries with Jalen Warren last year, but he got off to such a slow start, and then Kenneth Gainesville got hot to where he was excluded out the backfield. So he's someone that was drafted with some potential because at Iowa they're just going to run the ball. That's it. They're just going to run the ball. So they're looking to see if he can get going. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage there, fights for a yard, but that's it. So Caleb Johnson so far on this drive, 2 carries for 3 yards. We're now facing a 3rd and 7 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're line up in a shotgun formation here. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 back from their own 23-yard line. 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Oh, nice pass, nice completion. And he's running, still running, still running. Can he go all the way? He will not go all the way, but he'll take it all the way to the 1 yard line. And that was Wet Jen. Wow. What a play. I feel like the fans needed to see that type of play. What a play. And that was the pass there from Drew Alar, almost getting a touchdown right off the bat. And the DB fell down. The DB fell down. That was 75 yards. Almost a touchdown, but he was like a yard shy of the end zone. He was huffing and puffing and stuffing and doing everything he could. If JB's running that fast, be weary, because that means JB's being chased by something if you see me moving like that. So Campbell's the injured player, number 60 for the Green Bay Packers. All right, so again, we get to see Drew Alar in there at quarterback. All right, and just as they've stepped away for the commercial there, JB is going to step away for a second. I will be back, but JB's going to step away for a second. All right, and JB is back. And Samuel says JB will be back in 1 minute. I appreciate that there, Samuel. Again, Samuel, our newest mod, part of JB Nation. Yes, RC says cue the music. Ariana Grande new album plays while JB is in self-imposed timeout. Excellent way to say that one, RC. Self-imposed timeout. All right, so Alar here and company. They need 3 yards. Play fake, throws it, gives it to the receiver. Oh, he dropped it. Tried to catch it with his toes, I guess. But that's not going to work. Incomplete. And that was Nowakowski with the drop. So RC says, I've been uploading videos and shorts that I have in the Canon since I haven't been really feeling my best. And so, you know what, RC, how has streaming been for you lately? Like, how's the community been? How's the vibe been? You know, do you feel like your community, how can I put it? Because I feel like on this stream that I've noticed is different than other channels, that everybody comes in, we're nice to each other and stuff. You know, we're encouraging for the most part and stuff. You know, like obviously there's times where we'll get a couple bots to come in, a couple trolls, but you know, for the most part, everybody gets along, you know. But hey, that's a touchdown. Just like that. So that time Drew just did what he did at Penn State. Said, "Hey, I can keep it, I can tuck it, I can truck him. Let me in, coach." And that's what happened. Mr. RC says, "Drew Alar, here's your chance to show up Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers would never have done what he did on that play. Never. I wonder if he would do that with the Super Bowl on the line, in all honesty. And man, that Cardinals and Raiders game look like it's a good game. Cardinals may not be that great in the regular season, but they are fun to watch in the preseason. I will give them that. All right, RC says, I tell people because someone asked me, why do I even do content? I told them I do it for therapy purposes, but you know what, the thought JB lately I've been more, variety channel minded. And so, hey, it be that way. It be that way, really. It be that way. Because I feel that way about, my projects that I'm working and stuff like that. Like my trading card game is called Sacred Guardians, in which it is so close to being, productive. Like I spent most of my summer putting my energy, putting my heart into that project there. And so I'm slowing down because it's football season and I miss, chatting with you guys. So I was like, I'm gonna put it, back. I'm still gonna work on it, just not as much time as I've been doing and stuff like that. But that one right there has been, what I've been really focused on. But sometimes the focus shifts, sometimes it really does shift. Because in addition to that, I plan on writing a manga, in the future as well. That's probably along the lines of my late 2027, early 2028 time frame. I've got so many projects going on. The website I've been working on to, see how that's going to work out with it being football season and stuff. So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. But it's just something about, creating it. I feel like I just enjoy the aspect of creating these different projects. All right, so the score right now is Pittsburgh 14, Packers 9. Here in the third quarter with 2 minutes and 19 seconds to go. Play fake. McCoy throws it, gets the completion. He did step out of bounds though. Got to know where you are, Swinson. RC, are you playing fantasy football again this year? Second and six. Right here in the shotgun formation. McCoy throws it, gets the completion, and a first down. As the RC says, he doubts it. Who even knows? All right, McCoy up under center. Play fake. On the move, and Kyle McCoy is going to scramble, pick up 2 yards in the play. RC says he could not even focus on the WNBA fantasy draft he was in. And so, oh man, RC. Well, I feel you there. I feel you there. Like I had to narrow it down to just two fantasy leagues so that way I can fully stay locked in. And that's the max that I can handle right now. It's just two fantasy sport leagues. Cannot do more than that. 33 seconds left to go in the third quarter of play. And again, Kyle McCoy up under center here. Play fake. Moving around. Feels the pressure, and they get him down for the sack. He was not going to avoid the DB coming off the edge. That just was not going to happen. As he says, JB, will you be watching the Tupac trial when it officially begins? And so I most certainly probably will not be. In all honesty, JB probably will not be. Not that I don't want to see it, but I'm probably just going to end up when it's out, just end up not watching it. All right, so we're at the end of the third quarter, and the Pittsburgh Steelers lead this one 14-9. So we got one quarter remaining. I mean, someone might want to tell the scoreboard keeper that, but yeah, fourth quarter coming up. Oh yeah, for sure, 30, for sure, 30 years too late. In our humblest of opinions, for sure. All right, I see the Patriots are up 13-7 in that matchup against the Indianapolis Colts. And just a reminder, JB's next live stream will be this Saturday, Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. I'm sorry, not Green Bay Packers, I'm tripping. Cleveland Browns. So trying to jump to the regular season already, guys. But yeah. So that will be Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern against Chicago Bears versus the Cleveland Browns. Let's see, Anthony Richardson fumbled the ball. Anthony Richardson turned the ball over for Indianapolis. All right, let's see. So fourth quarter about to start. 3rd and 19. Throws it short, and McCourt's going to get the completion there. He's definitely going to be well shy of that first down marker. And that's going to bring out the special teams. Punt's on the way. Let's see, I see Trey Lance getting the play for the Chargers there. All right, let's see. Brayhawk says, am I going to stream more this season? And so, Brayhawk, I come into the 2026 NFL season, college football season, and beyond with the intention of getting more streams out there. The only X factor is, I've got to definitely keep my diabetes under control. If they stay under control, I have more energy to stream more. If it goes haywire like it did last season, then I end up not having as much energy. So that's probably the biggest thing for me is just making sure that I do what I need to do and that I, still have time to work out and stuff. But I plan on it. I come into this season, my goal is to definitely stream more. And I do have a couple ideas for after like the NFL season and stuff like that. It's just I got to get my website to the point where it can actually handle those ideas. So I'm going to continue to work on that. But long answer, I do plan on being more streaming more this season. I even want to see if I can get in a little bit more Ohio State related college hoops when college basketball starts and things like that. All right, so here we go. So Drew throws it, gets to completion. Oh man, look at this. These DBs that are in right now, they better take a picture of themselves in a Packers uniform because they may not be around very long if they keep tackling like this or not tackling like this. This play right here. 34. What are you doing? He's out there gator chopping, like he's trying to chop somebody toward the receiver and lets him blow by him. Wow. He's making Hurl Man look like Hurdle Man or something like that, man. That's bad tackling. The JB, I left the Ace fan base 7 years and out. Yeah, I could tell by your videos that you definitely have left the fan base, and I knew you were going to be leaning towards it. Because even last year, it sounded like you were at the point where it's like, okay, like, where's the joy in still rooting for this team? You know? So I feel you. And so Magic Mike says, still listening. Appreciate that. Greyhawk says, nice. RC says, I took some heat for it and I didn't mind. It's my life. You said my channel, my way. I just was no longer happy being a Las Vegas Ace fan anymore. And so, oh, absolutely. 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 In order to do what we do for as long as we do and to try to make YouTube happy with the hours as well, it's got to be something that you are passionate about. I am glad that when I started my channel, it was not Patriot focused, purely Patriot focused. And something I do wish that probably I did a little bit more for like Patriot stuff, but just being able to talk sports, different teams. If there's a better matchup and my team is playing a bad matchup, I get to focus on the other matchups. So I am happy about that. Jesse Mike says, I bet UFL is scouting these. Oh, for sure. For sure. They're front row. They are front row for sure. Now, when are they going to get in contact with Trey Lance? That's what I need to know. When are they going to go ahead and get him where he belongs? As the RC says, the only guarantees with me is I will always be a Cowboys, Hawkeyes, Fighting Irish, Timberwolves, Buck, Cubs, and UCLA Bruins fan. And the list goes on and on. But hey, I feel you. I feel you. So Drew's making some passes here. I think for the Rams, yeah, for the Rams, Stinson Bennett's going to actually get the start for them. So Ty Simpson will have to be the second quarterback to enter that game. Guess it makes sense there, him being a rookie. Mike said Trey Lance still around. Hey, yeah, he's playing right now today for the Chargers, I believe. I believe he's on the Chargers. Correct me if I'm wrong, Braden, but Trey Lance is on the Chargers right now as their backup. So Justin Herbert, you better be healthy. That's all I'm saying. You better be healthy. Otherwise, the Chargers are finished. Brock says, okay, I learned. So yeah, he's out there making it do what it do, representing the Big Ten, just like Will Howard, another Big Ten guy. All right, so right now they're at the 29-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. Steelers are up 14-9. Incomplete. Incomplete. Hey, Brayhawk, tell me this, man. Tell me this. What? Give me your top five teams and the order in which you rank them in terms of teams that you despise in the Big Ten as a Hawkeyes fan. Give me your top five teams that you despise in the Big Ten and rank them from the team you hate the most to the fifth most. All right. Quick cat caught by the receiver, working aside there. They are putting they're going to work on number 34. I don't know the kid's name, but they are picking on him in that secondary. Let's see. RC says those were different sports teams. JV cut me some slack. I know they were different sport teams, RC, but it's like, hey, I feel you though. I feel you. Mike said so many mids. RC says new Nipsey Hussle collaboration album drops tonight. Okay, okay. Second project together, bet. Pass and a completion. So Alar is out there balling. Picked up 7 yards on the play. Right now, he is 6 of 8 for 134 yards receiving. And he's trying to go again, like it's Penn State all over again. Another completion near the sideline. And that's how you work it. Let's see. Mike says, UFL done with Houston. They're done with Houston as well? My goodness, who's left? Who legitimately is left? All right, so Brayhawk says the number one hated team is Nebraska. Okay, that makes sense there. That makes sense. Number two, he says Ohio State. Come on, man. Why Ohio State, man? We would not list Iowa in the top 4 or 5 for hatred. Yeah, I don't think they would make top 5. Let's see. Michigan State. I can understand Michigan State. Purdue. You got to tell me more about that one. Maybe I'm not just paying too much enough attention for Purdue. And you got Minnesota at number 5. I could see it with Minnesota there. But I certainly would be curious to hear about the last two a little bit more about those two, especially Purdue. I mean, who could hate Purdue? Purdue's been playing like Purdue lately. They've been just, that's like saying that you hate Northwestern. I'm like, why? You know? Ah, that's right. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I'm tripping for sure. That's right. Yeah, basketball. I mean, I still don't have a hatred for Purdue because I respect the fact that, they're a challenge in college hoops, but it's annoying for them to represent the Big Ten, then get, bounced by everybody that's decent. I'm like, hashtag let the boy graduate already. Let's see, RC said JV Braden got on some Caitlin Clark 22 sandals. They are orange and pink. Orange and pink. That's a combination. Brock says, nice RC. What about Northwestern? And so, I mean, I just find it hard to hate it on Northwestern, irregardless of the sport, because like they've always been like, I don't know, just never a threat. Even when they did make it to the little conference, championships when they were semi-competitive every other year, I just never saw them as a real threat in the Big Ten. Throws in, that's going to be a touchdown. Cash it in just like that. So wow, what can Drew do for you? Oh yeah. So the excitement for the offense all came in the second half with these young quarterbacks. And that's exactly what the Steeler fan base wants to see. They're out here slinging, they're moving, they're running. The offense looks alive. That's what you want. See, Mike says, we are glad you're kicking diabetes butt. And so, yes, Mike, that is the battle. That is the battle. And JB's putting up a fight. I mean, JB's got a lot that he's got working on and stuff. Like, I got a couple, like radiology appointments and stuff next week. It's a lot that JB's having to go through. But JB's fighting. JB's fighting. 'Cause, yeah, it makes a difference. Like the difference between, as you guys have noticed, when JB's able to be fired up on the stream versus JB's watching the game, then JB's like nodding and then waking up, trying not to fall asleep for about 2.5 quarters. Usually that means that we're watching some game like the Saints or the Broncos or something like that, or a team that just doesn't put up a lot of points, but still, once that fatigue, because for me, it's always like if I did back-to-back days of streaming, it was always that second day of streaming that just felt so much heavier for some reason. But hey, we got a lot of big-time college football games coming up this year, especially the day that Ohio State plays Oregon is also the same day that Miami plays Notre Dame, also the same day that Alabama plays LSU, also the same day that Georgia plays Ole Miss, and it's like a bunch of games that's like coming out. I forget what week of the college football season it is, but man, on a day like that, I would love to have maximum energy to try to cover more than one on a day like that. Like, but obviously, I'll have to see how I feel during that time. 'Cause there's a lot of good games that day. RC says, then my voice is changing and getting deeper. You say, sound like Megatron or Optimus Prime. Let's see. Mike says, 2027, two new franchises, Iowa rumored are Nebraska. And you say 2028, Oklahoma City, team number 9 at team 10. RC said, JB, imagine if you had to stream all the time and only 12 or 0 people showed up. You said you had that happen before. You went, and then you would either shut down the stream or not clean off. And so, I mean, hey, I tell you what, RC, JB is not immune to that. I'm not immune to that. For me, it showed up with the NBA because when I first started, the reason why it was like that for NBA is because when I was covering sport news, when I first started off, as a YouTuber, I was like dropping sport news like crazy for the NFL. It was all NFL related. Now, of course, that translates to college football. Usually, when you get people to join for the NFL, they join for that too. But my NBA streams, like I never forget, it was an NBA Finals game. I'm trying to think. I want to say that the Phoenix Suns they were in the finals there, and it was like game I think 3 or something like that. And I only had maybe one person show up for a little bit. Then after that, it was halftime. There was nobody there. That's the only time I ever stopped the stream midstream and stuff like that, just because like I did not see like anybody in the actual stream. So that's the one time I can think of where I was just like, you know what? It ain't even worth it today. And I called it a day because I was like, if people are gonna join, like like everybody's streaming the championship game. So if you don't already have a solid, like core followers, you're probably not gonna get many people to join during a championship game because everybody's streaming the same game. And it was at that point where I was just like, you know what? Maybe I have to focus more on football because football is what I enjoy more anyway. So I was like, I'll just double down on football and focus on that. Let's see. Greyhawk says, "Oh Iowa, oh Iowa." Hey, how's the men's basketball team shaping up for this upcoming season, Braden? Like, are there how many returning starters, and what are your expectations? I know obviously the season it's a good ways away, but still, I just really can't understand why Ohio State's men's basketball program just cannot elevate and recruit better. I just cannot understand it. All right, 8 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter of play. And Steelers up 21-9. Green Bay play fake here, and the quarterback, he is going to lose a tremendous amount of yards here. And at this point, everybody here, they're fighting so that way they can be brought back next week. They're fighting to try to get some type of a roster spot here. Still what they can do. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Who's quarterbacking right there? That last name looked kind of familiar. Is that Drones from Virginia Tech? If my eyes did not deceive me, I'm trying to see who's currently in there right now at quarterback for Green Bay. All right, so they're going to run the ball here with Damian Martinez. He's got 7 carries for 18 yards. So again, Pittsburgh 21-9 here with 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go. JB's next live stream is going to be Saturday at 1 o'clock here. Browns, Bears. We'll see Shador. We'll see Deshaun Watson. For some people, Dylan Gabriel. And as for the Bears, it is simply about protect your starters, go out there and still have that fire, because Ben Johnson said he doesn't want to just go out there and win a Super Bowl. That's a little too easy for him. He wants to go out there and he wants to be the team to lead the NFL all time in points per game. He wants blowouts. He wants shutouts. He wants dynasties. He wants to win the record for the most wins in a row. And I'm just like, bruh, how about you produce the franchise first 4,000-yard passer first? Let's do that first. How about that, buddy? And again, fourth quarter with 6:19 left to go. Steelers up 21-9. And again, we're at the commercial here. Drew Allar is the leading passer for the Pittsburgh Steelers with 143 yards passing, 8 of 10 for a touchdown. Al McCord was 12 of 16 for 102 yards passing. So fully expect Pittsburgh to come out here looking to run this ball as they love to do in preseason. All right, he tried to attack the hole there, but got back to the line of scrimmage there, but that will keep the clock running. 6:13 to go here in the fourth. Oh, but that's going to be a penalty there. 5:55 left to go in the fourth quarter. Again, Pittsburgh here looking to run time here, and the running back's going to get brought down to about the 49-yard line there on the play. That's going to be a pickup of about 2 yards on the play. And that's Hayden Wrench on the carry. Pittsburgh has a very young offensive line room, actually. Play fake on the move, throws it, gets the completion, and he's going to be about a yard shy, pending where they mark him at. And yeah, he's going to be about a yard shy of that first down marker there. 'Alright, so Pittsburgh's gonna opt to go for it there. I would do the same thing as well. And they're gonna run the ball and pick up the first down. Picked up 2 yards on a carry, fresh instead of downs, which means more time to be taken off the clock here at 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in a fourth quarter of play. And this one with Pittsburgh up 21-9 over Green Bay and picking up another first down today. 4 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Looking to pass. Incomplete, incomplete, incomplete. That will stop the clock with 3 minutes and 59 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter of play. And another carry here for the Steelers, which means more time off the clock. I remember good old Charlie Bat. Remember him? He was like the backup quarterback before Byron Leftwich joined Pittsburgh as the backup back then. All right, going to hand the ball off again. 3 minutes left to go here in the fourth quarter of play. Again, drop the Mike McCarthy. How will he elevate this offense? That is the challenge coming into this season here. How much better can you make the offense here? And will that familiarity with him and Aaron Rodgers actually show up on the field in the regular season? Pittsburgh looking to try to convert here, going to throw it deep, incomplete, but there is a flag. Wow. Wow. Yeah, Green Bay may want to burn this tape here. And you have one job in that secondary, one job, you let that happen. So what should have been or could have been a stop there for Green Bay, just a small hands to the hip check was enough to draw that flag. And good job there by the receiver to stay committed to trying to get to the ball to sell that one. Feed to the back here in the back, brought down at about the 11-yard line. Two-minute mark. Good time for JB to take this time and to thank everybody for coming through here, that's came through here for this preseason game. Again, week one officially of the NFL preseason season here. And obviously, we know it's the preseason. We did get to see Jordan Love take like a few snaps there on the opening drive there for Green Bay. Didn't result in much, but it was nice to see him out there. Obviously, if we were not going to see Aaron Rodgers, but we did see Mason Rudolph start at the game here for the Pittsburgh Steelers and such. Drew Lawrence been a star here in the second half, 9 of 12 for 150 yards passing and a touchdown for Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, for Green Bay, Kyle McCord took majority of the snaps, and he was 12 of 16 for 102 yards passing. And so clear the score right now, Pittsburgh 21-9. They just had the better overall, game today. But this is what you want. Some stuff to, take back to practice at this point in the preseason, evaluate, determine who's staying, who's not, and some stuff to learn from, some actual see how guys step up because this is big for a guy like Drew Law's confidence and stuff like that. Like, hey, he went in the game, he made some throws, and these receivers did a good job too. Now Green Bay, you're gonna have to replace some of those DBs in the backfield that's in the game right now. They may be in the first ones on the chopping block. Let's see, Mike says, great stream, JB. Appreciate you, Mike. Appreciate you. And again, going to be coming through here this upcoming Saturday, the Bears and also the Browns. I'm hoping that because the Bears will be included, I'm hoping our guy Lewis comes through for that stream there. That'd be nice to see Lewis come through again for the stream. So I'm hoping that brings them out. And then in week two, I want to do the Houston and the Raiders game. I'm not sure if I'm going to or not. It's just going to come down to whether or not I have to pick up my wife from a company event that they're going to be going to or not. But if not, then I'll be able to stream that one. But for sure, that Saturday, I'll be streaming that. I'm not sure which game for that one, but once I do, I will post that one. So I've already got Saturday set up. You already know that. Essie Samuel says, "Hey JB, would look eyes out of my live stream." He said, "Make a mandatory for you. You're gonna make me a mod during the live there? Bet, bet, bet. I appreciate that there, Samuel. For sure, for sure, for sure." JB starting to feel like old man JB here because after this 2 minutes run out, JB is going to go to sleep and get ready for that final day of the week. I keep seeing Mendoza's doing good stuff. I mean, I know it's a preseason, but that's definitely encouraging from what you're seeing. All right, so Pittsburgh's going to hand the ball off. It says, "What time am I waking up tomorrow to go to work?" I normally end up waking up sometime around 5 or 5:30 a.m. Is normally the time I wake up, but in terms of actually having to go to work and stuff, that's usually around 8 a.m. for JB. So, but I usually have to be up around, it could be as early as 4:30, but usually about 5 or 5:30 a.m. The RC says JB is the early bird that eats all the worms and stuff. Nah, JB's wife is the early bird. I just have to get up around that time too. So, no, JB is that late night owl that does not want to go to sleep. But today I'm actually tired. Today I'm actually feeling the fatigue. So I will be going to sleep at a decent time by my standards. Samuel says your bedtime is at midnight. Once it hits 12 there, hey, I feel you. I feel you there. I feel you there. There was a time though where your boy JB, shoot, you catch him on a Friday night, he'd be up probably to like 6, maybe even 7 a.m. in the morning and stuff like that. Just out there, just either playing video games, just binge watching anime, just something. Just your boy was gonna be up late. But as I get older, that is not the case. So, all right, it's clear Pittsburgh wants to score. And they do get the score. So how about that? Pittsburgh says, hey, preseason or not, we are going to run it up. Samuel says, you sleep wake up time afternoon. And so, okay. Well, hey, you get to stay in and sleep then. So how about that? Mr. Alar said it is not enough to get one touchdown. He had to get a second touchdown. Excellent job there by the receiver. Nowakowski for the 4-yard reception. That time he had to tip it to himself, hold on to it, survive the ground, the contact, and hey, he did. And that's a fullback, guys. That's a fullback. So nice job there. Fullback said, I got hands. And the kick, it is good. Okay. It is good. So Drew Alar, 154 yards passing, 10 of 13 for 2 passing touchdowns there. That is basically our JB player of the game right there. JB doesn't have an official player of the game there, but if I did, he'd get that award. So now that leaves about a minute 46 seconds left for the Green Bay Packers. See what they can do. And again, it's not so much about the scoreboard for them as it is about situational football. Can your offense drive down there with a minute 46 seconds left and get a touchdown? Because for these guys, they're fighting for so much. They're fighting for their livelihoods right now. Being able to go out there and stay a part of a team and keep their dream alive, even if it's just for one more week, to put out some good film. So that means a lot to the players that are on the field right now. For those of us as fans, we're like, hey, all right, we get it. We saw enough. Let's get this one done. But for them, it means a lot. Tell you what, though, tomorrow I'm going to take the time to see if I can see some of those highlights from the Colts and Patriots game, see how my team actually did today. I know that they are leading 13-7 right now, but I do want to see some of the highlights, especially from the first half. And Samuel says, please, NFL game. Get over so that way JB can get some sleep. Samuel looking out for JB here. All right, a minute 46 here. I'm curious if Green Bay is going to come out, try to run the ball, be like, all right, we've seen enough. Or are they still going to try to pass it and try to score? Because if I'm a coach and we're losing 28-9, I'm like, all right, let's try to pack it in, guys. We've seen more than enough. See, Mike says Coach JB needs to happen. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, what a big time sack that was right there by Bot. He says, look, I'm trying to stay on this roster here. I'm trying to show what I can do. That is Kyron Jones. I knew the name sounded familiar. Green Bay's quarterback Kyron Jones, former Virginia Tech Hokie quarterback. Throws the ball incomplete. Now, Kyron was known for using his legs and stuff like that. Just that mobility. But that's not helping him tonight. These guys are fast. This is a different league here. If Kyler thought the ACC was tough, well, welcome to the NFL. A minute 20 left to go in the fourth quarter. Kyron looking. Kyron, try the run. Kyron, nowhere to go. Kyron. And just like that, another sack. Was it the same person? Oh my goodness. Bot is getting after it. I mean, that's what you like to see. It, that kind of depth where you know you can rotate him in. He's got a motor that never stops, as they like to say. But look at that. Back to back sack. That's the video game is right there. That tells me one thing. The guy blocking him is going to be cut after this game. Because what is this? We this late in the game and you can't handle them? Brought down to about the 36-yard line there. All right, so with 30 seconds left to go in this one before this one is done here, I mean, obviously, everything you see today, keep in mind it is the preseason, so it's a positive sign when you do see good things, mostly because of the performance of the players and stuff. At the same time, you don't overreact because it is the preseason. So we want to keep that in mind. But what we do know that's going to translate to the regular season is that Pittsburgh defense, that's for real. That's for real. I would like to see Drew Allard get some early, him and Will Howard, I would like to see them get some snaps with some of the, first units and then second units moving forward. All right, so with 30 seconds here, they're going to look to drag this one out. You say I was impressed with them then. I mean, look, I'm not saying that JB was impressed and stuff like that, but I saw some good stuff. I saw some good stuff that's worth investigating. I'll put it that way. I saw some stuff that's worth checking out to see how it goes, next time. How I don't know how it's going in camp, but I'm not gonna sit here and fool myself and be like, okay, like these guys could be in the starting lineup or something like that. But I seen enough to be like, okay, okay, I'm intrigued. I saw what I needed to see. But hey, we took a knee here. This one is done. As he says, put the fifth string quarterback JB in. There's still time. And on that note, we are going to get ready to end the stream here because JB does not need to be on an NFL roster at all. At all. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming through. I appreciate you guys here. It's getting a little late here for JB on that Eastern time here, and JB can already tell it's almost time for sleep. But again, I will be live again Saturday. Bears versus the Browns. The live stream is already set up, and we are good to go. And so let's see. Samuel says, bye, good night, rest, sleep well. Yes, sleep well, Samuel. And see you next time. Take care. Thanks again for coming through, everybody. You guys have a great night. Get some sleep. Don't party too hard Friday. And see you guys Saturday. Samuel says, tomorrow, blessed day, JB. Yes, blessed day, Samuel. Indeed. Yes. All right. See you guys later. Signing off.